Boom. 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 Boom.
Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast, the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. I'm one of your hosts, Brent Kruscke, the upholder of the unpopular opinion, and joining me today, as always, the ghost host, Jacob Stokes.
Boo!
The Pop Tab Podcast is filmed in front of a live Twitch audience. If you want to be part of that audience, head on over to twitch.tv/realpixel and you can join in on the conversation. You know who won't be joining anymore, I don't think?
James is dead?
Well, James isn't dead, but it is James.
Oh, why not?
Because
He works... Yeah, he doesn't work Tuesdays.
Well, 100%. But yesterday he came in and he's like, hey, I caught up on the backlog of podcasts. And I went, oh, so you still want it? You're still interested in listening to them. You just don't show up for the show. He's like, I just never remember my alarm, blank, blank, blank.
Okay.
And
Well,
he's just like,
I'm just happy he's alive. So nothing you can tell me can bring me down.
But he was like, I really like just listening in the car. It was just really nice.
Oh, that's great.
And I was like, that's great.
That's the only place I really listen to podcasts.
Yeah. And
Well,
so if you didn't know you could listen to this in the
Never
car.
mind, that's not true. But I do
it's-
listen to podcasts in the car a lot.
I listen to podcasts literally everywhere.
You
it's
really
like,
do.
hold
You
on.
really do.
It's almost like a sickness.
You know, yeah, it is
I listen to a
sickness,
lot.
but it's a disease you're not trying to get rid of.
Oh, no, not at all. It helps me.
I just had a rain, whatever they call their rainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was kind of looking for a Celsius equivalent of like, I'm looking for an energy drink just for a quick pick me up, whatever. I drove to Grand Rapids yesterday,
Yeah,
but I just don't want to be ripping Monsters all the time.
Makes sense.
So and also that's 300 milligrams. That's too much for me. So I'm like, Rainstorm 200. Let's try that. But Celsius is 200, and they use fucking lime juices and whatever they got to keep it natural, no preservatives, something.
I like for some reason when you went to lime juices, it was
Lime
almost on the
juices.
line of like a Trump impression where you're like, they're using the lime juices.
You got the lime juices.
Yeah, that's what it was. So it's like right on that
Juice
line.
of the lime.
Anyway,
But they're going for the natural thing, was it? And it was like, okay, I like that. No guarana, I don't even know what negative side effect there is, but I just know none of that's good for me. So let's do something closer to a Zoa because they don't sell those anywhere, sadly.
yeah, it's
And Rainstorm, 200 milligrams of caffeine tastes so much better than Celsius.
that's good.
I think people are brainwashed by this Celsius
That's
thing.
fair.
As we've tried all of the energy
All of
drinks
them.
within reason, and Celsius fell pretty low on my list.
Me too.
Like
I had one. I went, I don't need to try many more of these because I could see the back end flavor.
Multiple, yeah, I was like, I tried the ones that were the normies, the Fuji apple,
Mm-hmm.
the pomegranate or whatever they got. But then they did, here's peach vibe, and it's the summer flavor. Here's the
it's
tropical marshmallow.
with the waves and the fruit hitting the water and the
And I'm like, clearly there's some branding difference here. One of these is the forever. This one is the seasonal. Well, it's been here for over a year now, so it's definitely not seasonal. But
right.
I thought maybe there'd be something there. It wasn't for me.
I recently had what I think may be the best energy drink.
Well, white gummy bear is pretty high.
White gummy bear is pretty
that
high.
flavor doesn't exist. I'm telling you, you probably had it once, but the lychee.
I think I did try that.
I think I brought it in for you once because they had it. The lychee's really good. I like the lychee flavor, but
what
what's
I
the
had,
best one?
And looking into this later, I'm not too familiar with the guy who made it or the person. So if there's problems with him, I don't know. I don't think there is, but maybe.
Okay.
They have Bum energy drinks from Chris Bumstead. Is that his name?
Chris Bumstead. Yeah,
I don't know.
C-Bum is
C-Bum.
what is like
I don't
his
know.
handle
I don't
and
know
stuff.
anything about him. I didn't know anything about him pre getting the energy drink.
Yeah, the worst thing I've heard that I can recall from him. This is just pulling from, I don't listen like
Right.
that. I think was like a fake weights scandal.
Okay. Well,
But
because
who gives a fuck? That guy's huge.
Right.
I was like, I don't care if you're benching 145 pounds.
because I stay away from Prime because I think there's a lot of trouble in the back end of the people that run that. So
Sure.
I was like, I want to make sure I know, but I had this. There's a Bum energy drink. The
a good name.
cherry frost is so good. And I was like, maybe I'm crazy that this is so good. I had Bethany try it and she's like, oh, I would actually drink that. She doesn't drink energy drinks. And I went, I know, right? It's crazy.
Where's
it's
mine?
so good. I had it. I
You
went,
had GNC.
I
gift
just went
cards?
to GC, grabbed it. I went, oh
Yeah.
my God, you got to try this. But now I'm thinking I should probably pick up some because it literally like
Well, just
it was
save
so
me
good.
one. Save me one.
I will get you one because it was very, very good. It's so good that I haven't even tried any other flavors because I was like, I just want more of that almost.
I was What's the opposite of an energy drink? You'd say keep it carbonated. Keep it a soda of sorts. Because don't be like milk, or something like warm milk.
I don't know why, but for a year, like, what's the opposite of energy drink? But first thing came to mind, laxative. I don't know why. I was just like, what makes you not go anywhere? I guess it does make you go.
This one
just make you not go.
This one just holds the shit in, and the other one makes
opposite of energy drink, carbonated, probably like a Diet Starry or Starry Zero, no caffeine, clear. I guess opposite of a lot of energy drinks are clear. I don't know.
I was thinking of buzzing. A drink that brings you down.
I see.
Energy drink brings you up.
This brings you down. I see you.
Speaking on buzzing, I was pitching them to Cody, and Cody was saying he was willing to try one. I told him next time I go, I'd pick one up. I don't know if you'll be going first or if I'll be going first, but
I almost went the
wants
other day, but I
watermelon.
ended up not. Watermelon.
I gave him the 3 flavors. He's like, watermelon's for sure the one. And I was like, wow, you firmly landed on watermelon. That's crazy. He's like, black cherry tastes like medicine. And I was like, I'd like to see you just try real medicine then. If this tastes like medicine to you, actual medicine must be terrible. But still, I was surprised at the watermelon.
I went and got, so I've been drinking this protein powder called Seek, S-E-E-Q. And I've been drinking that because it's like juice. It's not like a...
Yeah, it's the clear way they call it.
Yeah. I just makes it easier for me to drink.
So foamy.
But it's online only. And I was like, I got to order it, blah, 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 blah. So I've been trying to find things local, which are different. And I found one at Target that I tried. And when I went onto Target to be like, oh, how much is like a thing of it? Because I just bought a little bag that was like $2.99 to try.
Sure.
It's like, what's the price? What's the difference? All that stuff. I literally am like opening my phone and I get a text from Seek because I've ordered from their website. I've got my phone number. I'm like, cool. And they're like, buy one, get one 50% at Target. And I went, what? And I looked, they just had them at Target. I just picked up the $2.99 thing on an end cap way over by exercise equipment, not by the supplements. And I just didn't even go over there. So they have them. So I was like, oh shit, let me go grab it. So I picked it. They're smaller. They're cheaper, but they're smaller. And it was buy one, get one. But I was like, there's watermelon wave, which I haven't tried, and strawberry lemonade. And I was like, I don't know which one I want to try. I got one that I know I like, and I want to try one of the other ones. I like watermelon. I was like, Bethany, what do you think I should try? She's like, well, I don't like watermelon, and you know I love lemonade. And I was like, all right, I'll try the lemonade because then you can try it and see if you're at all interested. Strawberry lemonade may be my new favorite. It was surprisingly good.
That's good.
It was awesome.
I like that GNC. I know that you're talking Target, but GNC has if you don't like the taste, you can bring it back and swap it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've done that, I think, maybe twice.
And what was really funny is we get to the counter at Target, the checkout line, whatever, and I put it on there, scan. Oh, it's not buy one, get one 50. That's weird. I literally pull up my text and I look and I go, oh, it's buy one, get one 50% off with Circle, whatever Target's. I don't know if that's like a free
like a
rewards or a
something.
payment. I don't know. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go through the whole hassle of signing up. If it costs something that's not really saving me money, I don't shop here very often, blank. So I was like, I called an attendant. I was like, hey, I didn't realize this is buy one, get one 50, but only with Circle. We don't have Circle. Could you just like delete this? Because out the self-checkout, I couldn't do it. She's like, oh. And she boop, 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 boop.
And it gave you the 50.
And then she like types in, I don't know, her phone number or the Target phone number. And they go, there you go. And I went, thanks. And I just got all my stuff and left. I was like, so I don't know if she helped us out.
I think
period.
It is just their rewards, by the way. So,
is it just free?
And the rewards is every time you check out when they're like, hey, do you want to put in your Circle? It's just your phone number.
Okay.
So that all makes good sense.
Makes sense.
It's the same thing as like M Perks. I don't have M Perks. Now what? Well, okay, just sign up, get your phone number on there.
Right. But in my head, I was like, so she helped us out. But I don't know if she helped us out because that's what they were told to do. Like, hey, if anyone's going to do this, just type in your number or the store number because they're going to spend more money than they would if they didn't. So do that.
It's possibly the equivalent of you need Best Buy rewards to do it. You don't have it. Well, let me just punch it in for you. Now you got this cable for free, and I got 30 points.
Right.
You know.
But I remember being at Best Buy. It's like, hey, don't do that.
Well, because you remember, was it Nick the Snake? We called him the Snake. I don't remember his real name.
I don't remember.
He's the guy who'd be like, hey, put my numbers on that.
Oh yes.
And
all the time.
And we're like, dude, I just front to back helped this person through the sale. Why? But it worked on so many people. He got all the stats recognition. But he bought a for like a $400 or $500 Vizio TV using rewards that were all traced to him putting in his rewards on every sale that he attached his numbers to, which was all of them. So yeah, he got fired swiftly.
Yeah, but it was like that. I was like, I don't know if she just went against her terms of service or whatever.
Terms of service.
Handbook, whatever for Target.
SOP, her SOP.
Or this is what she was supposed to do. I don't know. Either way, she helped me out.
Hit by TOS,
and I'm out of here. So I was very happy. It ended up being really good. So it was a good mall trip overall.
That's great. That's great.
And I also saw some kids at the mall. I was like, man, it's so good.
And they were just being kids.
They're just being kids. I'm like, man, it's so good to see kids being kids at the mall. Of course, two of the kids had a football. They were bugging people as they walked by, and I think they broke something in a store because they were talking about it, and me and Bethany walked in there and stepped on glass. So they're really being just kids at the mall. But it was just good to see kids at the mall. I just miss the mall.
That took quite the twist.
I know.
Holy shit.
Because I'm walking down I was like, oh, kids at the mall. They're on their phones. They're hanging out at the benches. They're just killing day. They got nothing to do.
They're just being a bunch of punks.
And then they started annoying people, and I was like, well, that's kind of shitty. And then they started talking about it. I was like, oh, we did step on glass in that last store. I was like, okay, they may have broken. So I was like, it kind of started to go down and down. I was like, maybe this is why malls didn't want kids around. But in my head, I was like, I was that kid. I used to mall rat all the time. This is great.
Well, yeah, but you didn't break shit.
I did not break stuff.
You might have annoyed people.
No, I never actually. There was people I used to go to the mall with that would do a lot of stealing. I never stole anything. One time, there was people would steal stuff, and I think it was from like Claire's or something. They were just doing all little jewelry or whatever. But then the security, they were told about like, hey, these people have stuff in their pockets, and they booked it, went to a bathroom, tried flushing the stuff down the toilet, and I was like, just drop it and walk out the door. What are you doing? I heard all this afterwards. I wasn't in the situation because I'm just like, I'm at Panda Express eating my food at the food court. I'm like hanging out in PacSun, whatever. This was Meridian Mall. Yeah. So I was just like, I'm just hanging out doing whatever. And then after we're in the car and we're like, where are they? And then you see them book them out of the mall and they tell us the whole story. I'm like, just drop. You could have left the exact same. Why are you trying to flush it? You're trying to destroy evidence? What are you talking about? Like, you just destroyed product. You still took it. But anyway, mall ratting. I was glad to see it was still somewhat alive in the malls.
I don't know what to say to that. I enjoyed hanging around the mall too, but I wasn't a piece of shit while doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Again, I wasn't a piece of shit. I hung out with a lot of pieces of shit.
Well, some might say guilty by association.
No, come on.
That's okay. You got rid of them.
Exactly.
Now you got me.
I cut my friend group from pieces of shit down to just one perfect little nugget.
Oh, I'm a nugget. I'm happy I'm perfect.
I didn't know where I was going with it when I started. I just went for it.
What sauce do I come with?
I think a nice honey mustard.
Hey,
I think
that's
so.
a great choice.
Or a money mustard,
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you're not getting money when you come. That's not happening. Anyway, tell people what you're streaming this week. Jesus.
I was going to say, we're going to start the podcast as we always do with a bunch of bullshit.
Let's dive right in. Let's dive right in. It's 20 minutes. Let's dive right in.
So this week I'm streaming. Thursday I'll be streaming Deadly Premonition. I'm having so much fun with that game.
Oh my God. Watching you play that game, bro. I was screaming at the TV, and it's Shay and Colin. We were here eating pizza, and I'm watching. And they're like, "What game is this? What's this running on?" I'm like, "It looks like it's running on a fucking smartphone, dude. I have no idea." And you're like, "How do I get this fucking card?" And you get the mission. You're like, "It's showing me the card again. It's showing me." And then you drive past that thing. I'm like, dude, just check it. I don't know how many loops you did in that godforsaken car, watching you do that race. And I was just screaming. And Shay says, just fucking chat him. Holy shit.
On one level, it's a 2010 game running on a Switch. That's why.
That game's from 2010?
That's from 2010. So it's a 15-year-old game now. We're right in 2025, but you know.
Sure.
So
it doesn't look like Halo 4.
No.
Which came out years at Halo 3 years before.
Right. It's from 2010.
That was a DS game for sure. If you a PSP game would have looked better than that.
And the whole idea of the game was it's
originally throttled by the Switch, by the way. Holy shit.
It's really rough.
God, the Switch
when
is
I'm driving
so bad
when I'm driving, I'm like, man, this is just chugging.
I'm watching, you're like, you need to take a right. And I can hear you go tap. I can hear the thing hit the edge, and you're just 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And then fucking, I'm like, dude, quit overcorrecting. I'm yelling at the TV.
It's so hard.
What a nightmare. So I was like, God, this was the game he was pitching to me as it's great, but they added combat. I'm like, fuck this game.
It's so good.
Oh, I got to look at my map. Let me go through my fucking hunter's lodge, and we're looking through the bushes, and I'm like, why are we making this Snapdragon 200 processor chug? This dude is so bad. Just what's next?
It's so
Give me
good.
The next game.
So after that, Friday, Alex joining me, we're going to be playing Alone in the Dark, New Nightmare.
Well, the old one.
The old one. Not the original one.
Right,
Technically, it's the fourth in the series, but it's the first time that they restart. No, what's it called? Like when you restart, it's like the DCU is doing it right now. It's a
Oh, sure. Like I don't know. I would say rebrand or a reboot.
I guess reboot.
Kind of.
I think what I read was a different word, but reboot it. It's the first time they rebooted the series. You don't have to play the first three, which I looked at the first three and I was like, those look interesting, but definitely not what I want to play. And I was reading, I was like, they're like 1 through 3 are really good, but for modern gamers, 4 is where a lot of people start because it's very Resident Evil. It's stationary camera, move through the rooms, all that stuff. So we're gonna be doing that because that's what
the fourth one is.
Fourth one's like that.
Interesting. I thought it's very Resident Evil 1 and 2, the stationary camera, and then they just make a jump. And Resident Evil 4 is like where a lot of people start.
I think the first one is like really.
It's like turn-based RTS something. I don't know.
From what I remember, it's
I
like
don't think you can have a turn-based in a real time in the same game.
it's like RuneScape is the first one.
RuneScape, a game that's actively played by you and
Yes, but it's like
millions
that's
of others.
And then A New Nightmare is much more. You got the dude with the leather coat and the long hair, and you're in the house, and it's
hair. Damn. Okay.
you know it's more like PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so the two of you are doing that? Is that a co-op game? Or
no, I'm going
it's
to be
a
playing it.
watch-along
Alex
kind
going
of
to watch like we did the other Alone in the Dark, but we're doing it because he
right.
bought me that disc copy for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then I went on to the new application I've been using to get like older games like Heroes and this one.
Sure.
GOG is what the abbreviation is on the desktop. I think it's something.
God Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bought it for $1.47. And I was like, well, I'm going to play through all this. I think it's Time to Beat's like 9 hours.
Oh,
I was also wrong on Deadly Premonition. 30 hours is 100%. All the side quests, all that stuff. It's like 18 hours is the main game.
Still pretty long.
It's still pretty long, but when I thought I was
looks and runs and does whatever that game does.
you were watching a very bad moment when I was
A very
realizing
bad hour and a half.
again there. So you caught me right at the moment where I realized that like time was like very particular. Like I was slowly like because before that it was like go do this, go do this, go do this, go do this, and then it was at that point it was like cool. We need to have this meeting at this time tomorrow. You have all this downtime, like the open world. But instead of being like in Spider-Man, where it's like, hey, go do something, and you go do one thing, it's like, cool, now you can move on. This is like, no, you're waiting until that time, or you have to sleep or kill time. But if you sleep, then you have to eat, and it's like managing time. I don't like any of that, but I've never liked that in any game. Like, I just want to keep doing the main mission.
Yeah.
So me trying to figure out the best way to skip those parts is kind of where you came in, where I'm like, I don't exactly know what to do. I don't know what's skipping time here and
this
stuff.
cop car, and then I saw you had a fuel gauge, and I was like, "Is he gonna run out?" And you said, "I gotta switch cars, gonna run out of gas." I was like, "The fuck?
Yeah.
This is terrible, man. It's terrible."
But
that's Thursday. Friday, you're doing
Friday Alone in the Dark. I
4.
might start because I think I might be able to finish Deadly Premonition on Thursday. If not, it'll be Friday. I would just finish Thursday, but I think James said that him and Shay are trying to plan a stream for Thursday, so I might play with them.
They are doing
so I don't know what they're
Thursday.
doing.
We were talking through Thursday plans, and we've got a jam-packed Thursday.
Yeah, so I might do that, and then this weekend I want to try to find a cool co-op game for me and Alec to play, but I have not settled on one. I found a great ad. I was like, this is the game I want to play. This is sweet. Looked into it. I was like, oh, it's not out yet. It comes out Q1 this year, and so this was like it was called Mead. Something
Like drink meat?
like drink meat. Essentially, it's a dungeon crawler. You go in, you go grab stuff and equipment, but then when you come out of the dungeon, you have to run a bar. But it's like overcooked. Like people are ordering food, you're grabbing beers, you're grabbing food. People start fighting, you start beating them out of the building.
I've seen, there's a couple games I own like that. I think it's called Ale and Tales. Tales as in like a story tale. And then the other one I think is just called Tavern Manager. But the Tavern Manager one is like Stardewy, and it's pixelated, whatever, top down only. And from what I've gotten to, there's no dungeon in it at all. The Ale and Tales one though is like you're gonna cook monster food is kind of the one of the things.
Kind of like Delicious in Dungeon,
which I have looked at.
Yeah,
I have checked out, and I'm like, I could do this.
I think watching that show, I went, oh, I think somebody that's into food would really like this. I'm sitting here and going like, man, I don't give a shit.
You watch all, that's the thing where I was like, man, if I get to the end and there's a cliffhanger though, that's where I'm like, man, I don't really want to be waiting on other shows and animes, and I got to finish Arcane.
The game is Midgard, so you can see it's very like
Midgard.
Yeah,
It's like Midgard.
Yes. But it's like
it looks very
overcooky,
very 3D.
But this is
here.
like
We're
the
both
running the
grabbing eels.
shop, but then you also do dungeon quests to like upgrade things in the bar.
Dang.
It looks really cool.
That sounds fun.
Doesn't it sound
That
fun?
sounds fun.
It's a 2-player game, or you can do it solo or whatever. But I was like, this is great. And then I
it's
looked, I was
only
like, it's
2-player.
not.
Fuck.
It is only
'Cause Overcooked,
2-player.
You can add up to
I
whatever,
know.
4.
From what I can tell, it's only 2-player. Again, it's not out, but on Steam page, instead of showing like multiple people, it just shows like the 2 for co-op.
Right.
So
yeah, it probably is too.
yeah. But I was like, this looks great. And then I was like,
That's great.
shoot. So I had that as a plan, and then it's not out yet. So I was like, I got to like filter. So we will be playing something over the weekend. I'm just not 100% sure because I'm forcing Alec to watch me play all Friday. I don't want to just keep doing games that Alec's going to have to watch or I watch him. I want to do something where we both get to play. So got to decide on that. So we did Gears 1. Maybe we'll jump to Gears 2 or something like that. But
Something co-op.
right now, I'm really, really digging the third-person horror game. Especially if it's like
as a generic brand.
exactly.
Of game.
Like I want to go through all
You
the
haven't tried
Silent
Evil
Hills,
Within,
Resident
have you?
Evils. I want to do Evil Within. I'm really like Deadly Premonition. I'm excited for Alone in the Dark. Like all that stuff. It's like almost like the weirder the game, the better right now. I'm like really just enjoying like the quirky, weird stuff.
That's good.
So that's kind of the plan for the weekend. And then my list of things that I've watched and played really short because this whole weekend was running around doing stuff. And we cleaned like the whole upstairs of the house, like to the point
upstairs.
where we vacuumed, rearranged everything. Then also we got on the floor and like did like the scraper for the cat hair in the carpet, because you vacuum, it doesn't get all. This is like a pull up the cat hair.
Yeah.
We did like that was like our whole weekend. Once we like decided we were too tired, or for me, pull up the cat hair. It's like I don't have allergies until I have allergies. Doing all that, it was just my eyes, my nose. I was like,
Like, what the fuck is going on?
exactly. I'd watch you play Inscription, quirky horror, but not third person. Then maybe we'll do Inscription, Alec, if you're down to watch it. I just hate making you watch.
You might like Inscription.
So
I own that one. That's a fun game. I actually played that with Ash in Florida.
oh, nice. But then
It's
we,
a card game.
I think Alex showed it to me before.
It's card with other aspects, but it's a card game.
Okay. And then, so once we were dead to the world because we'd either been working too hard or the cat hair killed us, we just watched One Piece just because it was easy to turn on. And then it's just Brent plays and I podcast time. We are getting so close to the end of One Piece. We are on episode 916, I think.
Wow, that is really close.
We're getting really close. And it's like, it's getting to the point now where this is the arc where I started hearing about all the hype. Like Gear 5, this is happening. We're getting this and that. This is where Shanks fights, all this. And we're finally getting to that. I'm like, yes. I've gone through 900 episodes to get here. But at the same time,
That's fucking crazy.
like the last arc was amazing. Well, majority of the last arc was really good. There's a moment in it where I go, like Luffy had his fight. We can move on.
I mean, from what I have gathered, as a Western audience member, I think that's a lot of people with every anime. Even when Derek talks hype on something, there's always something wrong. There's always something pretty glaring that he's just like, if you skip the filler, which is often a big one.
well, yeah.
I know that's often a big one, but it's also, why did this character do this one crazy outlandish thing? Like, why is this guy always so afraid for 400 episodes? It's always something major. And I'm like, for me, Chainsaw Man, one of the only things I watched, I'm like, man, why does this guy love boobs so much and so loudly? And it's his whole motivation. It obviously sheds eventually,
Right.
but still. And then Dan to Dan, there's a lot of weird shit going on in that.
Yeah.
But it's those things. I'm just like, I don't think I'll ever find an anime I would feel is like perfect.
This one was, because usually it's like, here's the whole arc. Luffy has his fight. He wins. And then there's like 6 to 8 wrap-up episodes where they have to figure out where they're going next, why they're getting kicked out of the town and not just hanging out. Usually it's like the Navy showing up or they have to leave because
Sure,
it blah,
yeah,
blah,
that
blah.
all makes sense. Yeah,
This one was, we get through the whole arc, Luffy has his fight, and then we have
wins.
he wins.
He wins.
And then we have, which he fought the dude that Henry Cavill came out and said he would play in the live action if they would cast him. This is the
Nice.
character. Because he showed up on screen. I grabbed Bethany and she's like, what? I was like, that's the guy Henry Cavill wants to play. I've been waiting so long to see this character.
What's his name?
Katakuri.
Okay.
He is a mochi man. His power is mochi.
Like ice cream balls?
Ice cream balls. But he,
Or
but,
red bean paste balls, I guess, if you're going.
but he's essentially like, he counters Luffy because he can stretch like Luffy. So all of Luffy's abilities he can do, but then he also can detach his mochi. He can like form. So he can dodge things better than Luffy because Luffy can't reform himself. So he's like a perfect counter to Luffy. And he's also got insane observation hockey, which means he can essentially see hockey.
H-A-K-K-I.
Yep. Or might be just 1K. I don't know. I haven't seen it written out.
I know. I'm just saying.
But
Like, it's not hockey.
he can essentially see like almost a second or two into the future. So Stokes, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Devil May Cry anime, both really good. And I don't think have bad episodes.
Well, it's... I won't put bad episodes as the whole thing. Like
Right.
it's not just an individual, because one of the things I love about Gundam is no filler, right? Like it's but even then I'm just like, wow, that was a weird fucking line to say. And I'm just like, maybe it's a translation thing, maybe it's a whatever. There's just always something that's just off enough,
Full Metal Alchemist has one very bad episode that I get to every time and I stop and I have yet to finish it because it happens.
Wow.
It's just like a really bad recap episode.
How long is it?
It's like 32
it's a
episodes
recap
or something.
episode?
It's like an episode and they're sitting by this campfire and they're talking and it's just like I don't know what's happening. It's just like a mess. I don't like
How
it.
many episodes was there?
I think it was like 36 or something.
in the whole thing.
I think so.
I could do
There
that.
might be a little bit more.
I can do that. I mean, I won't do that. Not now. I've got way too much Gundam
Right.
to watch, but I could do it.
Once I do finish One Piece, I was going to go back and finish Full Metal Alchemist, and I have. I'm currently trying to keep up with Shangri-La Frontier, but I'm waiting for dubs, and then Solo Leveling Season 2 just started. The first episode came out, got a 9.1 out of 10. Everyone's really hype on it, so that's exciting. Okay. And then also the end of Blue Lock. We talked about the beginning of Blue Lock. Everyone hated. Apparently, the last like 5 episodes of Blue Lock, amazing.
Derek told me about it. He said it was like one of the last moments was just like the most overproduced thing you could imagine.
Yeah, so I don't know if like halfway through they're like, we got to fix this. But
Hokey pokey.
Hey, Hokey, thank you so much for the sub. And
My boy.
so yeah, but everywhere I was in the One Piece, doesn't matter. We watched a ton of One Piece. We're getting near the end. It's exciting.
So much.
And to see Katakuri
It
finally
was
show up is
about
good.
cleaning too. Is kind of they went cleaning into One Piece.
Yeah, but I also
that's why you said this is why I haven't watched much.
I haven't watched anything.
Running around cleaning.
I also I had a box with a bookshelf in it that I bought to put behind me on stream
you had
for
a
about
box
3 minutes.
with a bookshelf.
I had the
I
bookshelf
see
in the box.
Yes,
It wasn't like I had a
understand that.
bookshelf that I hadn't put in there. I literally bought a bookshelf to put on the stream set, and it had been there for like 4 months. I just hadn't got to. I haven't been able to do it because to build a bookshelf in the rooms that we have to move. Like it's just a lot more.
I get it.
So I was like, I need to do this. So I finally got that up. I finally rearranged this, did this, ran cables, all this stuff. I did find out because I got more stick-on things, 3M, little hooks to hook cables and all that stuff. I just bought brand new 3M things and I pulled out the little stickies and all of them were unsticky. They were just not
Soft,
sticky.
yeah.
And I was like,
Interesting.
okay.
Brand
I've
new
got
ones, huh?
Brand new ones. I was like, I've got a million because I buy, 4 of them and they come with extras, yada yada. So
I get it. Hype train.
hey, hype train.
I don't even. What does that even mean?
It means I think it's our subs so close back to back.
Back to back.
You have a limited time to earn exclusive emotes right now if you sub. Level 1 hype train.
Also,
that
thanks,
might
Alec.
be thanks Alec. That might be the first ever hype train. Because I don't think they were they a
this channel?
thing?
No.
I don't think so. So it might be the first one ever. I got my old 3M strips out to hang up things.
Back on 3M strips.
Also unsticky. They just expire. So I bought like expired 3M strips and my old ones I've been keeping also like not sticky anymore. And I went, I thought these were eternal. I thought they
Eternal.
I would go into a drawer 15 years from now, pull it out, stick it to the wall, and it would work.
The sticky.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they were just gonna die. So that was interesting. But yeah, so that was my whole weekend. Watched One Piece, did that. If I had any downtime where Bethany was either working or whatever, that's how I caught up on Shangri-La Frontier, which is also really fun. And it's funny because I watch and I go, man, I wish this is how games were, where it's like
Sure. Yeah.
not
Oasis
like
and
the
whatever,
Oasis. Not even that. It's that. So he gets upset in his game. He wants to go play a different game to like cool off. He's like, God, I can't do this one thing. You can't use like a mech suit in this game. And he's like, fuck it. I'm going to go to a game where I can use mech suits. And he goes to a game and he gets into essentially like a Gundam, but it's the one where he moves and the robot
Sure, yeah,
moves.
Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
kinda
Pacific
thing.
Rim
Yeah.
style. And he does like a whole fight there. But because he showed back up, the number one player's there. And last time he and the number one player had like a draw. And so the whole time this person's wanting to fight him again. And because they're fighting, all the servers are like messaging on message boards, hey, show back up. these people are going to fight. It's so exciting. It's like this whole like community driven, and he like brings this game not from the dead, because it's essentially a dead game because there's no one really playing it anymore. But he was able to get people back in it. It's like, oh, it's so good to have you back. I'm glad to be back in it. I'm going to try reteching this and do it. I was like, wow, it's such like a friendly game world for this game.
Oh,
that
that's
doesn't
like all
happen.
positive
Yeah,
and
just
all,
like that's
yeah.
just not how it happens. It's he would come back to the game and people would just like spam him
Dead
in
game,
chat.
dead
Yeah,
game.
get out of here. Blah, 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 why are you trying so hard?
Not good enough for your other game, are you?
Yeah, like all that stuff. I was like, man, I wish this is how the community games felt. I wish I could go back to a game I haven't played in forever and feel good. I got on Halo Infinite with Alec, and I put on all these crazy cool
Went over the top,
colors, got the sunglasses say game over on it, had balloons popping out of me, had like the pride skin all flashy. And it took like 6 games and I got called slurs. And I was like, what are we doing, guys? What is happening? Don't you want people to play this game? Like, what is going on?
No, yeah. For a game like that, right?
Right? I was just like, this is so silly.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It hit me again. I got a trailer pop up on my feed
Okay.
for one Destiny 2.
No, Stokes. Come back from the edge.
It was for the Guardian games last year. I don't know why I got this pop up.
That's weird.
I was like, oh, new Guard. I still watch the trailers as they come out because I'm just curious enough. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
What's happening?
now that the saga's done?
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, Guardian Games, you're still doing an event. And I was like, Guardian Games is like an Olympics, like a summer thing.
Yeah.
It's not going on right now.
That's where the statue with like the lion and the snake and the
Yeah.
eagle.
Yeah, and they change.
They change
once a
what's
year
winning
to
because of yeah.
They change once a year to whoever
Really cool.
finally won, and the banners raise every day, and
Very cool.
it's where they introduced the different type of vehicle in that one, where it's
it's not the Sparrow, but it's
the surfboard kind of thing.
Oh, that was like after, but
Where
they didn't do the other. The other vehicle was just there then. Not the Sparrow, but like the thicker one. That was just an enemy vehicle.
sorry, yeah, I see what you're saying. The Mauler,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, they had other vehicles, but it was you can't just spawn one like a Sparrow.
Right.
Yeah, but you were able to spawn this new thing, and it
Gotcha.
allowed you to essentially skip parts of the map. It was like a catch-up mechanic on a new vehicle type.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Whatever. But it was, I watched it, and I was like, is there anything new in this? And I looked at the date, and it was, early 24 or whatever. I was like, oh, why'd they show me this? Like, why?
Yeah.
How did this come up on my feed? But also, I was like, God, it looked cool. And I was like, all the things they showed off, I earned all of it. Like I did. I got.
You had already done
I
it.
got the Wave Rider or whatever they call the thing. I got all the skins. I got all the for the Hunter. I don't do the other characters, but
Right.
you know what I mean. And I was just like, God, but watch them shoot a submachine gun in that game just looks so good, And it's but it's the same thing of like, God, why does Bungie suck so bad?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just wish Sony would have just like completely managed it differently,
It's so sad too, because if that game's purchase structure, one was easier to follow.
I could name 4. I love the game. I can name 1,000 problems
Right.
because I know it so intimately. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything that would have made it made sense for you, if I'm being honest.
That's the thing. And I think the biggest thing for me was purchase structure of having to buy the things the way they were purchased, or the way
didn't
it
help.
worked was
That didn't
weird.
help.
It was
Yeah,
it was
terrible.
it was very confusing, especially for someone who was trying to play with their significant other. So I'd have to get 2 copies, but I like 2 copies of what, because it was on Game Pass, and it was just a big mess. And then also it's like I didn't know what to do at a certain point.
That was the thing.
It was really tough.
You were very much like, now what?
Yes.
And Derek said the same thing when we were hyping it up. I think with Colin, I forget who we were talking to, but how great Destiny was and how much we loved playing it. And he's like, yeah, it's great for the 3 or 4 months, like just before and just after an expansion. Like you really love it. Maybe you go do a new dungeon or raid when it comes out, but then you just wait for the next year of stuff, and then you just blitz it. And it was great for that. And I was like, I'd still be playing it. I love, like, this last time around, I was so much like I'm just open to it now. I'm like, I'll do anything that you want me to do. I'll hop in and treat it like a daily, like just get the thing.
Now, you said that you can buy the whole light and darkness, light and shadow. What's the
Light and dark.
Light and dark shadow? The minute I saw a third currency, I was out.
Oh yeah, so I must have been talking about with Hokie, because he did say that too. There's third currency, and I think it was Derek was like, yeah, MMOs are weird, and it was like, oh, is this an MMO? Is it not? We had an interesting enough conversation, but I mean, the game was worse when it had more currencies, when it had fucking spindles and drindles and blindles and findles. You know, I was like, sure, let's just narrow it down to the few.
The one for me is like the materials on the planets, where I'm like, why do I
That's
ever
the
need
currency
these?
I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you don't anymore. In fact, I mean, you can still get them for whatever reason. You can still get them, but they just translate into the currency that you get when you break down weapons.
Like the gun parts.
No, the purple legendary crystal.
Gotcha.
You get those for dismantling purple weapons and higher, which is like everything eventually. But and then you use those for almost everything. You have the blue currency, the glimmer, which you use for bounties, the purple one to buy like higher end things, and then after that you start getting into like practically crafting materials.
I'm very surprised because obviously a bunch of MMOs out there, fantasy. Go run around third person, do dungeons, blah 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 blah. Then Destiny comes out. MMO, not MMO, not into that conversation, but it's a first-person shooter with the ideals of an MMO behind it to forward. But we didn't get another one. You know, we got Overwatch. Marvel Rivals came out, which is essentially Overwatch.
Sure. Hero shooters.
Yep, we got battle royales. Everyone did a battle royale, but it's like Destiny did a first-person shooting MMO, and then we just never got another one, which is really surprising to me. I'm surprised that no one else just didn't jump on and do it.
Yeah, I think we got close with a Warframe because
very
the whole
close.
thing is Space Ninjas, whatever. It's not first person, but it is a shooter. It's guns. It's whatever. That one's, I'd say, closer to a traditional MMO with 40,000 currencies and lots of ways to upgrade.
Right.
And all those kinds of things. Like I think Destiny just felt less MMO than all the others. That it felt like more in my wheelhouse. But
yeah, but it's just. In my head, you would think someone would be like, well, we want these first-person shooter players. Let's just do another one. Just someone else do a different one or something like that. Because in my head, it was always, well, if Destiny 3 comes out or there's a new starting point or somewhere where I can be at the beginning and keep going, then I would be more apt to jump on. But it's when I jump in and go, how many different expansions do I have to buy? Why can't I just get all of them?
I think there's a world, because I don't even remember his name, the guy that was the original game director of 2. Which doesn't say a whole lot, but original director and like took it through its first year and then made it good. You know, he came out and did a whole like, oh, Destiny's not dead. It's not going away. It's not whatever. After this isn't the end of our Destiny. We got more coming. Sure, we haven't seen it yet. We don't know what it is, but I saw that and I'm like, that's almost kind of disappointing. Like an end game sort of thing where I'm like, you could just limp along and fart out things that are the start of another 10-year saga, but will you? Will it work? What's it going to look like? Now you're down 20% of your workforce. You're pulling things to Marathon. Like, is this a second thought now? Like, I don't know. But I think there's a world where, I don't want to say Destiny 3 because they confirmed that'll never happen by name. But there's the Destiny leak that was one of the future expansions will have it so that you can... You customize and make one character, but they are all classes in one. You just pull from trees and shit. I don't know how it would work, but they're like any character can use any ability.
It's like in Throne Liberty, you pick a character, and then whatever weapon you have determines your abilities. Kind of like that, but
Guild
different.
Wars does it with the weapons like that. Final Fantasy is like you've got those skills and trades that you can level up. It's the same kind of thing where it's like, I want to be a hunter for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but I want to jump like a Titan.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that I picked Hunter because of jumping is like so stupid.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest reason to pick a character. Also, purple bow and arrow. Come on. What do you get?
For me, it was the hood.
Everything. The hood and the cloak and the serape you can never get.
Yeah. But also, but I didn't like the wizard, and the tanky was too tanky.
They had clear lanes, but all the same, if they were to do something like that, there would be a heavily researched portion of like what's life like at Bungie now. Like, are people doing okay? Because it sucks that you cut the workforce, whatever. But if Homeboy's not buying himself Maseratis in the middle of a fucking layoff Christmas, then I'll feel better about that. PlayStation, you know, they run it, but they don't run it. So it's kind of like, how ingrained are they going to be after this? You know, they're not closing them like they did Firewalk or something. They got new games coming. So I think his name's Luke Smith, just came to me. The director, Luke Smith. Anyway, if they show progress in that way, I would do it again. But until then, I'm
now, say a different route, a different company comes in and goes, we're making a new one.
Not Destiny, but
not Destiny,
they're making a
but
game like
it's
it.
very similar to Destiny.
Sure.
Obviously, you're going to play it because you're going to play. If it looks at all interesting, you're going to play it.
I would say I play most things.
But would that be more enticing to you? than Bungie coming and doing something different, or less enticing?
Less.
Okay.
Less. I mean, we're talking light differences as I go along because I'm always excited for a new game. Even if it's one I don't think I'll like, I'm like, sure. If someone else is excited that I play with, I'm like, I love feeding off the excitement, and I just love video games. So I'll play anything and try anything.
There's this game called Deadly Premonition.
Content warning was the one where I'm like, I can't do this. I'm happy to have tried it, I guess, but I definitely can't.
That's fair.
But like Warframe was one I was really enjoying, but it felt too deep. I was like, I don't really know where to go from here, and there's a lot of convoluted stuff. But they have a new one, Soulframe, coming out sometime this year. That's like a feudal Japan.
Of course,
it's not actually feudal Japan in any way, but it's from what I understand, it's more melee focused. That's like it. But all the same, that's one where it's like I might try that, and that's if it's it's third person, but it's the Space Ninja MMO style, but it's starting from scratch. I'm happy to try.
Is it MMO? Or I thought that was or they have a single player thing coming out though. That's like a story single player. Is that what that
Warframe? I think it's just it's the single player story within the MMO.
Gotcha.
From what I understand, and it's probably up to 4-player co-op too, or something along those lines.
Well, if they got a new one starting with Warframe,
Soulframe, yep, new game.
I would give it a shot.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, but Bungie, the things I love about their game isn't its overall structure or its menus or whatever. It's like it's the specific abilities. It's the way they've integrated armor and perks and things and how those work together. It's the gunplay. It's the guns and the history I have that I'm able to bring forward. But if D3 were to come out and exist and say start over, dude, I'm purchasing everything that game ever makes. And unless of course something they don't fix their infrastructure or they ruin it again, I'd happily drop out. Just like I don't know, the expansion came out and I bought it twice. I bought it for PlayStation so I could play here and upstairs, and I bought it for PC. The PC one was deluxe, so I can get the battle pass, which is actually like cross progression. I bought it once, I have it. And then I spent $50 on currency the day it came out because I'm like, I just want to buy all the shit for this. I want all the skins, all the whatever. Like I happily spent $200 in expansion. Like I really love this game.
Yeah.
So if something else were to come, it's recalculate. But right now the calculations have been done and they're showing negatives.
It's really funny too because, like I said, in One Piece, I finally got to the arc where everyone's hype or whatever, and it's an arc that is very much like the whole island land is essentially set up as feudal Japan, and I went, God damn, I just can't escape this freaking motif of putting stories on this background. Yeah, and they also changed the art style of the game, of the anime, and I was like, oh man, is this how it's always going to look now? And it's funny because I went onto Reddit and started seeing all this stuff, and everyone's like, oh yeah, isn't it so cool? It's so much better now. And I went, I mean, I could see it looks almost more traditional anime, but that's not why I watched One Piece.
Traditional anime?
Like
the modern era?
Exactly, like modern era anime, where it's like if you took 3 characters from 3 different anime and you took out anything that's specific to the anime, it's like this is male character A, B, and C. It'd be hard to place which one goes where unless you know the characters. It's not like that because the characters still look like them, but the way the eyes and the characters and stuff, I was like, oh, you're getting much closer to the tradition, like the idea of anime right now, where One Piece has always been very loopy, I would say. There's a lot of loops and circles and stuff, a lot less angles than there has been. I'm getting more used to it now that I'm getting into it, but when the initial change happened, I went, oh, okay, I get it, but I don't get it, but all right, yeah, let's give it a shot. And it's also, I don't know if it's just because of the island, but everything's got a very brush texture to the lines. So it's almost like a brush drawing. And I was like, okay, maybe this is just this island.
Style.
And once they leave the island, we're going to go back to the loopiness.
Untrue.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, you haven't left it yet. Okay. That's where you're at. Okay.
I am in the island. The land of Wano, as it's known.
Guano!
So.
Is this the slave prison island?
No, this is they're outside the Navy's control.
Must be the next one.
All run by.
Because I watched one episode that was a more recent episode, and the one I watched was a recap. Someone was live streaming it, hey, new episode's up, let's watch it as a group. And I was in the Discord, and I'm like, sure, I'll watch this.
And it's they haven't had a new episode for
Oh, this was 6 months ago.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, because they've been on break for a few months and until April.
It was a while
It might be in Wano, Luffy just got arrested and he's in prison and he's working out at a mine. So maybe it's a part of it.
That sounds right.
So it could be something like that. But yeah, I'm just excited. It's getting into, we're finally getting to that point where I'm going to start learning the secrets of the world.
Yeah,
which is super exciting.
Sure.
Whatever.
That's what they've
All
been
right.
promising you for a long time.
Anyway, what have you watched? I'm sure you've got some sort of some views on something. You rarely come in with nothing that you haven't watched.
I was like, what makes you
Rare.
think that? Some views on something.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure you saw a movie, but maybe it wasn't a movie. Maybe you did this or that or whatever. But
I'm so sad. I always open up Letterboxd. I tell you, there's the one person I follow that's like so opposite of my views.
Yeah.
They just reviewed Possessor.
oh,
Gave it a 3.5 stars, which is actually not a bad review.
uh-huh.
But they put, was feeling a bit low today, and huge shocker, but this movie did not make me feel better.
Oh no.
I'm like, yeah, it's not a feel good movie
I
of the
mean,
year.
oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. All right, so what did I do? What did I watch?
Yeah, what do we got?
I did miss family movie night this week. My mother's gift to my stepdad was fancy tickets to the Pistons game.
People watch the Pistons?
He just loves Detroit, and he loves basketball.
Oh, okay.
So
Fair.
he likes the Pistons from just whatever,
Right.
growing up a fan of
'Cause
basketball. But he loves all basketball pretty equally. He didn't own a Pistons piece of gear until the gift,
Gotcha.
that I've ever seen. He's like diehard Lions fan, but basketball is his favorite sport to watch.
Gotcha. Because in my head, Pistons, like Lions weren't really a thing until like the last 2-3 years that they're like now getting good and have chances. And people are being excited. Very much like everyone doesn't care until they're good and then fair weather, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But Pistons have always been at the tier where I'm like,
Not always, but in our lifetime.
in our lifetime, I guess.
He is older. He did get to see when they were championship tier.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think they went to the championship in like 2002 or something. Like in my living memory, the Pistons were good once.
Oh, okay.
But then they, of course, steep fall off and are one of the worst ever.
Because
But
I also don't watch
Tigers
basketball.
apparently not good anymore. But I'm like, I remember when they went to the World Series. Like,
Really?
yeah.
And I also forgot Tigers were a thing.
So it's just, but then of course you're Red Wings.
I'm not a baseball or a basketball
Red Wings
person.
have never been bad in my mind. There's probably a time they were, but
These last few years have been rebuild years, so they haven't done amazing, but they haven't done bad.
okay.
I think it was 4 years ago was the first time they didn't make the playoffs in my whole lifetime. So I don't remember. It was a while ago now. But I also stopped watching them because you have to have a specific service to watch them in Michigan if you live in Michigan, where I could get a different service and watch other teams, which is why I started rooting for the Seattle Krakens.
Yeah, right. The Krakens.
Yep. Which
Maybe
they're
I
actually.
don't remember the World Series then. Oh, maybe I think that's where they're putting them as the winners of it.
I think this Saturday or this Sunday,
Anyway.
the Krakens and the Red Wings are playing.
I don't know baseball. I don't know sports like that.
Yeah.
But all the same, they went down for that, so they were busy that Saturday. We didn't move it to Sunday because they decided to stay for the Lions game.
Oh, okay.
My mom knew somebody who knew somebody.
This was
who
with the
whatever
Vikings?
Was scalping things with the Vikings. Yeah, so it was
Exciting.
a big game. And, all sorts of videos and photos. But the Pistons got a good player recently, and they got the kind of seats where they get to, it was unlimited food, unlimited drink right behind the bench. And they got a call from a special person that was like, hey, I'm here to tell you all about your tickets and what you're going to get. And it was bring cards because you can just hand them to the players to sign. Like, they're that close.
Oh, wow.
So they were really good tickets, and he was stoked because he's also now fully a sports card collector.
That's cool.
Since last year, we got him some for Christmas, and that was sweet. But it was probably October of 23 that he just started, and he was asking me what kind of top loaders do you get, and how do you do? He's in, deep in. So
Sports cards so cool. I think they're even fun to open, even if I don't know, because there's so many different things that can happen, styles, yada yada. But for some reason, I don't know why, because it's such a big industry and there's so much money into it. They just don't seem to have the same care as trading cards for a card game. Because sometimes the corners aren't the same, or they're different square rectangles.
As somebody who
so
he
weird.
was like, hey, I think I got this card. How do I? What's the best way to exit a top loader? Because I feel like I'm going to damage this. So I showed him the thing. It didn't work. So I was like, yeah, let's just pull it out. Their cards are just softer. I was actually just going to mention, that was the first thing I was going to say, was that's my least favorite thing is their cards are just fragile.
Somehow they're
just softer paper. These ones are meant to be shuffled and riffled and whatever. So there's a resilience to them.
Yeah.
We sleeve them so that they don't face that resilience, but, and then foils and curls and stuff.
Yeah,
but
and for some reason, baseball cards were designed to be put in bicycle spokes, but they still get beat up. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. That
Crazy.
was what they're for.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they were
It's their
designed,
one-to-one-
right?
Yeah, it's the number one thing. Exactly.
Sport cards, that's cool.
So then with that, we weren't able to do family meal. We were going to watch, and we are going to watch, much to Derek's chagrin, Infested.
Infested.
But I watched 4 movies, 4 hearts. 3 of them were rewatches.
Okay. That's. I was like, wow, that's really good odds. But
I started with The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
hey,
We were feeling a very Dracula theme. So Colin was visiting, and for Christmas he got me, and my birthday, whatever, he got me Nosferatu, the original on Blu-ray. And he brought for the Plex, he brought Dracula and like some other vampire
and no Dracula
things.
2000. You weren't feeling that?
It's not here yet.
Okay.
It's coming.
Because then you got 2 more movies after that.
Anyway.
Okay.
Last Voyage of the Meter, got a heart. It was a better looking movie than I thought it would be. I thought it would be lower budget, but I was like, oh, this is like really well made.
It looks good. The gore is really good in it.
Yeah, I just overall liked the movie. I mean, I think the weakest part was actually the Dracula monster.
Yeah.
It looked really cool, but I was like, wow, this is like full CG, a little over the top for what I would have expected. You know, I don't know. He can fly, he can't fly. How far from the ship can he go? What's the rules with, does he have wings? Is he crawling? Like, there was some things I just didn't like about that, but those were pretty minute.
I don't wanna say-
overall liked the movie.
I liked the movie a lot, and the gore I thought was really good. I don't want to say like the story was a problem, because it wasn't really a problem, but for me, every step of the way, I was like, so what are we doing? What are we trying to solve here? Because they never seem to try to solve anything. They're always arguing, and they're always like trying to like do something or figure something out.
For me,
But it was like, what are we doing?
For me, it was we need to find out where he sleeps. Oh, we open it. There's maggots and all this shit. And oh, we found a cane. Oh, look at the cane. Ooh, this is important for where he is. And then it's the daytime after that, and they don't go to that crate. I'm like,
yes.
I was like, well, you just found where he sleeps. Like, he needs to be there right now.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
Pick up that coffin when he's sleeping and dump it over the side.
yeah. Well, you need a crane because it was all the dirt and whatever.
Right.
But it's also like, or just burn it.
Yeah,
Set it on
anything.
fire, or I don't know. Do something.
It was very.
If your plan is to just coast the ship into the water and sink the ship, just fucking burn it now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I did like that there were some survivors, so like they did some contrary to the story sort of thing. But the like, we're gonna find him and we're gonna kill his ass.
Oh,
You
at the
know?
very end.
At the very end,
It
it
was
was
like,
him, hey, I'm looking through the smoke. I'm Dracula.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Is there a sequel to this?
That's the thing is, I was
what
like, are you planning
you
a
really
sequel?
didn't need to set this up as an ending, but
No.
for being what it was, I really enjoyed it.
The kid thing was really cool too. Like so cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. But then he's alive again. And I was like, that kid is fucked, but we're going to nurse him back to health.
Yeah.
And then he died again. I was like, man, they killed a kid twice. in this movie. And then there was a third time. And I was like, whoa, how many times are we going to kill this kid?
Fucking.
And it burns grandpa while doing it. I was like, that's savage, dude. That's savage.
It was really cool.
The guy they cast for the one who burns on the post as it's going up, he was great. He was kind of the bear, or not the bear,
The mountain.
the hound.
The hound.
The hound, yeah.
I had the right.
We
thing,
were
but
all
yeah,
there. We were
yeah,
all
yeah.
there. Next movie I watched had Cody over. We did a little charcuterie magic fun night.
Charcuterie. So you watched Jaws.
Oh no, this is actually the day before. This is the day before. Anyway,
Go
no,
on.
we watched Miami Connection.
Miami Connection.
Hold, I gotta edit something. I'm seeing that one of the movies I watched was past midnight. Has the wrong date.
Oh, okay.
Boom. That's why I was like, it was 2 days before. No.
What is Miami Connection?
Miami Connection. I got a lot of things to say on this movie, but let me just type in Miami Connection into Google and read you what their thing is. Because
Okay.
Cody loved it when he read it.
Here we go.
A martial arts rock band goes up against a band of motorcycle ninjas who have tightened their grip on Florida's narcotics trade.
Okay. So its title is more L.A. Confidential, but its theme is surf ninjas against Nazis or whatever. Okay,
something like that.
Gotcha.
So-
I was like, Miami, that's such a weird vibe, but then you read that and it makes more
The
sense.
thing about this movie was there's a guy, YK Kim, Korean grandmaster of Taekwondo. The whole movie is just like an advertisement for Taekwondo in a way. But he was director, writer, producer,
Star?
arguably lead actor. It's a group of people, and they all share a lot of time together. So, you know, he doesn't get many speaking parts because his English wasn't great. But they're a band, and they have 2 songs, and one of them's Against the Ninja.
Is the name of the song?
Is the name of the song. The second one, Friends for Eternity.
That's what all you need, really.
And it's like they're the most PG rock band ever. And there's a guy in the, it's like, these guys are playing kids songs. What's going on? But then they're just fighting cocaine ninjas, and it's just a ton of fun.
Just recently, I think it was because I was going back through a lot of Corridor Digital stuff, and they've got Stuntmen Reacts, and they were talking about all these big stunts and stuff. And I went, I just want to go back and watch some older martial art movies. Either I don't remember seeing, but I know I saw, or I skipped for some reason. So I started looking into, like, you know, a lot of the Jet Li movies, like The One or the all that
I
stuff.
watched those ones.
And then I was like, which ones did I skip?
War.
And I was like, oh, Ong Bak. I never watched any of those. And I was like, oh, let me check those. I was like, I might start diving
Talk
into
to Rob,
these.
dude, because Rob loves all of those movies.
I might really dive into some of those soon.
He loves all the Tony Jaa stuff.
Exactly.
So he likes all of it.
Yeah.
So you speak on any of it, he'll like it. But yeah, he really Ong Bak is his favorite.
Well,
of those.
for me, when I'm watching these stuntmen talk about, like, yeah, those guys do it differently. When it looks like they're taking hits, and I'm like, I want to watch people take hits. Like, I want to watch that. let me get into this.
Gladiators play for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm gonna start looking into some of these and maybe start making a list and trying to get through some of them.
Cool.
But I haven't done it yet. But it's on my list to do. But that just made me think of it.
I don't take to those ones as much, but I watched a lot of the kids, so
Yeah.
they are still fun. And I love like modern ones, like The Raid, for instance. I really enjoy
yeah.
too. So, but anyway, Miami Connection, watch that.
Okay.
Cody Collin, fun time. After that, that's when we had Charcuterie Magic Fun Times,
Oh, okay.
and wrapped it all up and watched Skate Town USA again.
Oh, of course. Okay.
It got my heart.
Of course. Well, we got to do our grind Skate
It's
Town
just-
USA combo pack
it's
here soon.
funnier watching it with someone who's also just like, this is so goofy and silly that we're all laughing. Because I watched it with Shay and Mia, and I don't think they found it as funny as I did, so I wasn't laughing as much and whatever. But this time it was like, dude, I can laugh at a tiny person on roller skates just for existing.
Okay.
I can laugh now. You know, like there's something I'm like, you don't get it.
You won't get it. We're all here.
We're all here.
Okay.
So that's one that, yeah, I also think it's funnier on a rewatch because the first time you're like just taking it in.
Yeah,
You're like,
have-
this
yeah.
is so, I'm being bombarded.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
then
like,
once you know what's coming, you just
Overload.
you laugh at it more. So I don't know. There's something great about it. But so watching it with Colin was fantastic. Cody was there to just watch us laugh at a movie. He enjoyed it too, from what I understand.
Gotcha. Oh, only through the elimination of violence can we achieve world peace. Slaughters 50 ninjas.
So at the end of the movie, dude, such Miami Connection. The end of the movie, they're driving to take a guy to go meet his dad finally for the first time.
Oh, shoot.
It's so goofy. They just bought a suit for him and everything, and they're driving the car. The camera's in the car. They turn. Oh no, ninjas is like literally how it's read. Oh no, ninjas. And there's a bunch of ninjas on motorcycles driving at them on a bridge, and they like get trapped on this bridge. And by bridge, I mean like not. It's like the length from like the cabinet to the wood.
Okay.
So what's that? 15 feet maybe.
Maybe.
It's a short bridge, and it's in a subdivision. And they start fighting, and they all jump over the edge of the bridge. And then it looks like they're in Vietnam.
Oh.
I was like, whoa, where are we? Like, we're as they're killing everybody, it's like we're like 200 feet from a golf course. You know what I mean? Like someone's barbecuing. You can probably hear the laughter of children as they're slaughtering ninjas.
Yeah.
And it's just, who's the first person to get the slash across the chest? And oh God, the guy who just bought the new suit. His new suit's in half, and he was just going to go meet his dad. Oh my God, no. So they all start crying and freak out and just start slaughtering everybody. And that, it slaughters, murder, whatever. They take the guy to the hospital, meets his dad. Yay, end of movie, happy. Only through the elimination of violence can we achieve world peace. And it was like, bro, what the fuck? You just killed so many people. Slaughters 50 ninjas.
Awesome.
Exactly.
It's so weird because going back to One Piece, because I'm in the land of Wano now, there's samurai, and then they meet a ninja, and they're so excited to meet a ninja. And he's like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? They're talking about all these ninja motifs. And I went, Luffy, you have superpowers.
Yeah.
You can literally,
Like,
there's
you got a
gears,
grappling
and
hook?
you can turn into like a giant monster version of yourself, and you have different forms in that form. Why are ninjas so special to you? That or someone will come up and be like, don't worry.
It's the classic debate: pirates or ninjas. But when a pirate meets a ninja, dude, they're like, "Oh my god, it's
Well,
worlds colliding."
And then at one point it'll be like Zoro standing there, 3-sword style, knocking down everybody. And she's like, there's someone there with like, don't worry, I'm a samurai. And he's like, oh. And I went, so what are you? Are you just a swordsman? I don't understand.
Yeah,
you
what's
use
the difference?
samurai swords and you use 3 of them.
Yeah.
Why are you getting?
Feudal Japan.
It's very weird how they put certain things on pedestals on that show. And I go, what are you talking about?
Well, it's funny because I was like, you guys are taekwondoing all these people all the time, and I was like, what makes you not a ninja? Because a lot of these ninjas are white men.
It's
Like they're just white ninjas.
there's
walking around
a
killing people,
line
you know?
somewhere. We just don't know that line.
Yeah.
But there is a line out there,
Well,
and
in
I
this
believe
movie,
it.
if you're a ninja, you die.
Oh.
Against the ninja.
Did you ever watch Ninja Assassin?
With his heart's on the other side? No.
His heart's on the other side?
Yeah, because he gets like fucking stabbed through the heart, and he's like, oh, but I have my heart on the other side of my body.
I don't remember that.
The guy who blended chicken breasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Man, I really don't remember that part. I just remember the rest
I
of the
haven't
movie.
watched it.
It's
This is just shit I know about the movie.
I don't remember that part about it. It's
I
just
should
like
watch it.
when they really like
That sounds like a
when
movie
they
that
go,
fit me well
here's
right now.
like amplified ninja tactics where it's like, oh, we can hide in the shadows. It's almost like ninjas can like step into one shadow and come out of another one in that movie. It's like they just amplify ninja tactics.
Awesome.
And it's so awesome. Crazy CG gore, all the stuff. Very Kill Bill gore, but like we're serious ninjas and hooks, and it's cool.
Cool. I should
Tons
watch
of
that
fun.
one. I should watch that one.
And there's one more movie I think you had?
Yes, Skate Town got the heart.
Yep.
After that, I rewatched Nosferatu in theaters.
Oh, the new Nosferatu you watched for a second
Robert
time.
Eggers. I watched that
Gotcha.
for a second time. I reviewed it first time, right?
Yep. Was it worse, better, the same?
I think most movies are better on a second watch for me anyway, just because I'm like, I don't have to be taking it all in at one time. I can be expectant, and then my eyes can wander the frame more. You can be like, I already know what's happening. Like I get what, you know. The movie felt better paced for me the second time, which was major for a movie as long as it's like whatever, 215, 220. A difference in pacing in that long of a movie can feel better.
I think
I just was like, now knowing what's next and now knowing where the ending isn't and where it, you know, I like it more.
I think the pacing is the biggest thing for me on a second or third watch is like when you're sitting there the first time, you get lost in it and you're like, has it been 45 minutes or an hour 45? I don't know, but it seems like they're wrapping up, and then there's a whole other movie after, and you're like, oh, they weren't wrapping up. Then once you know that, you can sit with it better or know when to.
My mind is pre-paced.
Yes.
Yeah, something about that felt better. I think I did the biggest walk away for me. I noticed a couple more of like, oh, here's a little foreshadowing piece. Here's a little whatever it is. But I think for me, it was funny that he's a folklorist or whatever, so he does everything as by the book, quote unquote, as he can. And it felt very by the book and all that. But it's funny because at some point I'm like, I understand the value in taking someone's story and literal translation. There's a lot of he does a lot of fun with what the frame is and how he fills it with characters, and sometimes it feels very theatrical. I mentioned like on the stage. Sometimes he takes like when he's walking up to the carriage to go to Castle Dracula of sorts. When the camera's in the carriage and it's looking out, but the edges of the frame are pitch black by the carriage door, so it changes the aspect ratio of the movie, but it feels in world. Like there's some really cool shit there. That I'm like, that's awesome. But other than that, it felt so by the book that I was like, man, we really didn't take any liberties, Like it felt so. The liberties that were taken were the ones that were because of how literal it was. We've been used to the Dracula, If you haven't seen it by now or you haven't seen the memes or anything, this Dracula has a mustache. That's about as far as I'll mention it. But it's a powerful mustache. It's Tom Selleck vampire mustache. And people, it feels so different because what other, mustache vampires can you picture right away? But when, it's like, oh, well, because in the book he had a mustache. In the book of Dracula. That is. So it felt so literal that I was like, man, I think I prefer a lot of other Dracula movies because I want it to be more colorful, more vibrant, a little more this vampire rule changed or this one is touched on and stuff. But for considering it like this is the one I would show to like students if I could. You know, it'd be like, this is the we're going to learn about Dracula. This is the definitive, like, here's the story of Dracula. Anything from this is variation. So
Gotcha.
I think it offers value in that way. I do think there were two things I've heard since watching, because I didn't look at reviews. And I was like, let me just go watch the movie. Since then, I've heard a lot of Ellen's the main character, and it's her taking her life in her own hands and stuff like that, and she's going to make choices. I really didn't get that on the second viewing. I'm like, Ellen is is it Lucy in Dracula? The one who is married to Jacob, who's the one who's the, like, Dracula's coming for her.
Renesmee is the one Jacob ends up with at the end. Because of imprinting.
So anyway,
He's her
Ellen,
protector.
So anyway, yes,
Go
right. He
ahead.
imprinted on a baby. That's
Yeah.
right. So Ellen is Lily Rose Depp.
Oh, okay.
So the kind of, visual poster character of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't feel that. And then a lot of people saying how horny that movie was. And I just did not get anything from it.
Okay.
And then afterwards, the first thing I turned to Colin, I was like, so was it horny? He goes, no, not at all. I asked everyone. And I asked my mom. She goes, I don't know. You kind of did it for me. And I'm like, he's a fucking rotting corpse. What are you talking about? She's like, it's the yearning. It's the yearning. I asked, we went with Caitlin, Bastion's Caitlin.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, Caitlin, was that movie horny? She goes, hear me out. And I'm like, no.
So it's a woman thing.
It's the longing of this elder demon of sorts wanting to kill everybody.
It's the
for
phantom.
You.
It's the Twilight. What they did was, we take four books to have sex.
It's closer to the phantom, but it was just like, this guy's a rotting corpse, dude. Like, what are you talking about? And also, motherfuckers bringing the plague. Like, this guy's not, cutting corners, or I'm going to get rid of this person so I can be with her. Is like, no, I'm going to wipe out this fucking city, and together we're going to destroy
But everyone's
Earth.
going to BAM afterwards trying to find a crudely drawn cover art with the Dracula on it that they can take home and read the book talk. So
Maybe. That might be very true. The slow burn, as Hokie says. So I didn't get the horn from it. But speaking on that, I have a question for you now, because everybody seemed to agree on one thing for me.
Gotcha.
We're talking to my mom about what we're watching that night when we're going something else.
Yep.
We're about to watch Miami Connection.
Yep.
And she goes, Miami Connection, what's that? I say,
Oh God, book talk. Exactly. I'll keep going.
book talk. I said, Colin, tell my mom, you know the pitch, give it to her. He goes, okay, yeah, rock band, martial artist, taekwondo, taking on narcotic dealing ninja motorcycle punks.
Gotcha.
He says that, and she goes, oh, where are the whores? And I'm like, what the fuck? She goes, oh, sorry, sex workers. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, I don't know. The movies you like typically have whores in them. And I was like, what do you think of me? What are you talking about? And she's like, whores, hookers, sluts, prostitutes, sex work. I'm like, I get what you're saying. Holy shit. And I was like, she said the word hooker. I was like, is this because of Frankenhooker? Because I joke about how much I like that movie.
Uh-huh.
I do really like that movie, but I tell her more than I should because it's a joke. I think it's funny that movie exists, that I really do like it, and that super drugs make hookers explode. And she goes, no, it's not just that. It's like all of the movies you say you like. And I was like, are you kidding me? I tell this story to Derek, and he goes, oh, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What movies do you think? And he's like, well, you were just talking about a movie where a guy drowns in cum. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. What are you talking about? He's like,
Mama Stokes valid.
He's like, yeah, you were talking about it. Something about a neighbor gets killed by his mom fucking him. And I was like, are you talking about It Follows? And he's like, I don't know, man. I was like, I described the It Follows scene again. He's like, yeah, that's the one. And I was like, you've all seen that movie too. Everyone loves It Follows. Why is it weird that I like that movie? Also,
Go ahead.
before I get to the real question that I just kind of gave you, second question. Do you remember that in It Follows?
Yeah.
You remember she sleeps with the neighbor at the hospital or whatever? That's just like, he's like, I'll help you. I'll take you.
Yep.
And then they see someone crawl into his house and they're like, we're going to go check on him. And someone shaped like Mom is literally riding him, and he's got fucking semen coming out of his orifices, like, ooh, and he dies.
Well, I don't
And
remember
then
that.
they carry him away.
Well, I remember it.
You remember her fucking him to death?
I remember her being on top of him, and it's like alluded to, but I never got that from that scene. I thought it was like life force.
So the reason that, well, you know, she's literally like riding him.
I guess
She's bouncing up and down on his peen. No one's naked in this.
right. In my head, it always felt like a like I'm sucking the force.
Well, fucking
Vibrating.
jelly's coming out of his eyeballs, and I'm extrapolating that this is semen because that doesn't normally come out of your eyeballs, right?
Normally,
Right. So the reason this even comes up
in
is
the movies
because,
you watch with your whores, maybe, but
yeah, right. But the reason this came up was because they said for a ghost movie, what about It Follows? Shay brings it up. What about It Follows? I was like, I don't think it's a ghost.
definitely not a ghost.
I know, but maybe Lauren read it because it was like on a list. Remember, the top ghost movie was The
Right.
Exorcist, and I was like, I mean, okay, sure, but It Follows was somewhere mentioned, and I was like, I don't think so. Whatever, I don't think anyone would like it. No, why not? It's a good movie. I was like, I don't know, dude. A mom fucks her son to death in that movie, and everybody, what are you talking about?
Well, a creature dressed as a mom.
Well,
go on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I explained the scene in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, maybe not Lauren, but they've all seen the movie, and I don't think Lauren's going to care or be spoiled, whatever. So I
Right.
just say that. And they're like, dude, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God, let me pull it up. So I go to It Follows, and I just drag to the scene, and we watch like the second that it happens or whatever. And I'm like, see, there it is. There you have it. And but my mom later brings this up. She's like, you had that shit like time stamped. And I was like, I've seen the movie like 6 times. Of course, I know in the quarter that the movie exists, and it's got thumbnails. Like,
Yeah,
like,
you can see the.
oh, look,
yeah.
she had sex in the hospital. It's the next scene. Like, I know what's going down. But everyone I've asked, they just say they don't remember the neighbor at all.
Oh, I definitely remember the neighbor.
The neighbor crawling through, going to check on him. He's dead. Oh my God. Then we go to a pool afterwards. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I know how this movie goes. But anyway,
Yep.
I mentioned that to Derek too. We got Jake on his back foot. So I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
He's in the corner. He's trying to fend us all off, dude.
I'm beating the horror only allegations.
Yeah.
But all the same, so I'm just like, yeah, and that's the only 2 things they bring up.
Okay. Remember that scene? Not in that much detail. Is that James?
That's James. But you guys are like glossing over the same way. Your eyes are filled with a glaze.
A glaze? I'm gonna blink real quick. Sorry. Go on.
What was I saying? Yeah. So, but that was the only example anybody brought up, and I'm like, what are you? I'm the one who brought up Frankenhooker, and my mom didn't even really agree with that. She's
Right.
like, no, not that one's funny, haha. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know. You're just talking about whores, and I'm just like, is this true?
Now, I will come in and say, I don't think it's whores, prostitutes. I don't think
Sex workers.
Women of the night.
Yes, ladies of the night.
Ladies of the night. I don't think it's that. For me, remember what I said, Nosferatu, I heard it's really horny and it's dark and spooky. Stokes is going to like it. I think horny is your lane.
Horny's
There's a horny level to your movies that you really like.
Sure.
Like your the Cronenberg dude. A lot of his movies have that lane and you're like, I live for this shit.
The 3 movie Cronenberg?
Yeah.
His son?
Yeah.
I think one movie has a horny angle to it.
Well, I haven't seen any of them,
The reason I
but you
imported
bring them in.
The other 2 movies, I mentioned the sex scene because I was like, oh shit, I don't remember this.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
So I slid it
there's
away.
that,
but
and then there's the one where
Alexander Skarsgård busting on screen. I was like, I gotta see it.
Right.
That's fair.
But then-
you're bringing up an example. No one else can bring up any of these examples.
But I felt like that's which one is that one?
The busting?
Yeah,
Infinity Pool is newest one.
Infinity Pool. Okay, because I was also thinking of that one because they can do whatever they want because they're rich.
Yeah.
But the Possessor
Mm-hmm.
also has a thing where he goes into someone having sex or sees somebody.
Yeah. He's using goggles to like look
Right.
at their curtains,
Right.
in particular.
Again, you've
For
told me
advertising,
about this
yeah.
movie a bunch of times, but that's like the one that and
Yeah.
being a killer or something is all I can remember from that movie.
Well, the thing with that one, the reason I've ever mentioned it and the reason I think it's funny is because I was watching it on a plane and I said, oh shit, like
Yeah.
this is like proper. Oh, fuck me. I
Yeah.
did not expect, this is not thematic or cinematic or whatever. It's not, they're not making a Kyle Reese here.
Right.
You know, I'm like, oh, this is just here.
I also
And it's ugly. It's ugly.
I think it's like
not horny. It's like,
I think it's like a Jake is getting customs involved.
Customs as in like I had to import
Oh, yeah.
Infinity Pool, which actually I didn't because I bought it from Harrison, who had it imported. And I was like, oh my God, it's here, uncut.
So
what a great name for it.
So for me, it's the horniness, but also like it's not just like there's a horny air around the movies that I think you gravitate towards. Because like
I'm glad
for me,
it's not around me.
No. Because when
kind of.
when I go in, I go like there are sex scenes in movies. In my head, I'm like Watchmen has incredible sex scenes, but there's not an air of horniness around that whole movie. There's like scenes, right?
Well,
where I feel like some of the horror or the movies, you have like an air of horniness around them that kind of permeates throughout the story or the reason why the story is happening more than most. But hookers, whores, that doesn't.
It's just so
vibe with
funny
me.
that they were both so adamant
Yeah.
about it. Jim didn't have that strong of a thing. Colin was like, yeah, I guess. But Colin watches the same shit I do.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think that's
Also,
the thing.
the particular intro and movie I was talking about to you yesterday, that didn't help my case.
The intro of the movie.
When I was talking about how we could intro the thing, I was like, that's not really helping my case.
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna
you know,
I didn't bring that up, but yeah, I was like, there's like a again, if someone were to pitch a movie to me, like it's kind of like horror and dark, but it's got this real like sexy vibe through it all. I was like, oh, Stokes would either seen that already, watched a podcast about it, or would love
it's
that.
the Temptation Island, right?
Right.
Of just like, man, everybody wants to fuck each other, but they're not.
Yep.
They could. I think that's the reason, though. After really breaking it down, the things that I say that I think push this idea is looking at a movie and I go, I'd watch them fuck.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I say. It's just like, wow, these are two really hot people. Like, I'd watch. You know?
Yeah.
Or I'm just like, oh, maybe they should. I don't know, they should kiss about it. Like, I don't know.
Well, it's what they say in Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God. There's a moment where someone's like, oh my God. Like they're like talking about making a sex tape with like so they could sell it to their high school people because like they're like, oh, they would want to see us have sex because we went to high school together. Wouldn't that be crazy? And they're like, no one wants to see us have sex. And they're like, everybody wants to see everybody have sex. If you had a sex tape of Rosie O'Donnell getting fucked silly, I'd be like, why aren't we watching that right now? Sometimes you gotta know.
Kevin Smith gets it.
He gets it.
He fucking gets it. Because if someone said, hey, here's just obscure person 1 and 2 from your high school, I'd be like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, you gotta know.
I do want to see everybody I know.
That's the whole premise of the show, how they're gonna make money.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
That's great.
Yeah, so I think it's just an air that permeates around the movies.
I also thought about It's What's Inside is like probably my favorite horror this last year.
Yep.
I said it was top 3, maybe my third. I don't know. But that's one where it was like, it's just because everybody's looking at each other with longing eyes, but do they want the person inside or do they want the body? What body am I in? Like, there's something about that. And I also respect that they didn't do the, ooh,
yeah,
I can see myself naked. Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
There was not one
Thanks, James Gunn.
second of that in there. I was like, oh, I feel like that was the low-hanging fruit. And we went above that, but it was still just the everybody wants to fuck everybody.
Yeah. In my head, I wouldn't say that's a horny movie / a horror movie, but in my head, I go, sex permeates that movie and what makes it that not cringy, but like that I want to watch, but don't know if I should watch feeling. I think you like.
All I'm saying is I'm ready to fully uncover the shit Shay's been reading to the families and be like, look, it's not just me.
Gotcha. I was like,
we're all here.
Okay.
Like my mom. This year she's
pull out the Kindle and start scrolling. Look at this. Look at
you want to see what I'm saying?
You know what it is?
You're all hiding it.
Just because I put it on screen for all of us to watch.
I think my mother has probably read 5 books in the last 15 years.
Okay.
3 of them were 50 Shades.
Damn. Those are just bad books too.
Yeah. But guess what? Everyone's fucking horny. And no one wants to double down on it. I'm just happy to say it. I'm happy to watch it. I'm like, yeah, put it on.
Slams fists on the table. Exactly. Yeah, I think of that from Wicked. Do you think everyone doesn't want to see this? No, I think they want to see it. Right. Like gives it all of it. Exactly.
That's what we all want.
I'm here.
I'm just happy that I'm the one that's like, oh, that movie's got this air around it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna say you're into the whores, but there's a horniness that you look for or you gravitate towards.
Sex workers.
Dude,
the way she was like, oh, that's the problem with what I said. Sorry, sex worker. And I was like, and they're coming up with examples too. It's just like, not a visual version of a mom that's a monster fucking her son to death. Where's the whore?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Like,
my
what
thing.
are you talking about?
Is like usually
Where's
money
the sex
isn't
work? Where's
exchanged
the,
here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I'm not going to Stokes and be like, you know what? His favorite movie, Pretty Woman. I think he really likes Pretty
oh
Woman.
god, Hoke gave me with a young Mr. Skin
Skin
in
and
training.
Training.
I do actually have in the Plex. I have a collection of movies that is Mr. Skin presents the Women in Prison collection. Chained Heat.
Okay.
Jungle Warriors, and one with Red in it. Red Hot? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Two of them have Linda Blair from The Exorcist.
Plex doesn't work for me, so I can't help you.
I know. It doesn't work for Cody either.
Let's see.
So anyway,
I'm
glad we could really shake that out.
yeah. The Golden Globes happened. This is like,
Yeah, apparently.
yeah. I
didn't look at them.
Oscars.
I heard
whatever.
Shay listening to the intro on TikTok this morning from Nikki Glazer, which I laughed at like 4 of those jokes.
Dude,
I was like,
jokes
Nikki, you're
were
hilarious.
so funny. I didn't even watch it. I just like read the jokes, like, they do the images and then show it. I think I even told one to Bethany when there was a joke where she's like, yeah, I didn't know anything about, I went and saw Wicked, didn't know anything about it because I had friends in high school, and I thought that was really funny. Her talking about, she was like, oh, Zendaya, you were so great in Dune. I woke up for your scenes. It was really funny. There was just like a really good jokes. But then the other moment that I really laughed at, because it was so awkward, but I'm like, God, it's awkward, but I love it, was Vin Diesel took the stage and he's like, hey, what's up, Dwayne? And The Rock's sitting there and The Rock goes, hey. And it's just quiet for a second. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so awkward. Why did you do that?
What's up, Dwayne?
Yeah, what's up, Dwayne? And Rock's like, hey, just does his smile, But I'm like, you guys you don't have to like each other for you guys to be in the next movie together. It's fine. We don't care. But it was really awkward, but fun to watch.
I didn't watch any of that. I don't know.
Then a lot of people were really upset with a movie winning over.
I heard Demi Moore won for something, won for Best Actress and something. For The Substance, but I don't know what the Golden Globes has such weird categories.
Yeah, there was
probably one for Best fucking comedy musical. You know what I mean?
I think that was the one most people are upset about because, where can I just see like winners and stuff?
Oh well, you had
yeah,
the
I
fucking
had
click
it,
right
I
there,
had
dude.
it,
You
I had it.
it.
That's my fault.
What do we got?
Best Picture Drama went to The Brutalist, which
Okay.
I think just came out.
I don't think it's out.
Oh, okay. That's perfect.
It might be, but
This one, musical or comedy, went to this one.
Amelia Perez.
Amelia
Best Motion
Perez.
Picture? Oh, that's the name of the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people are really upset. One, it didn't go to Wicked. A lot of people just think Wicked should win.
See right here, musical or comedy?
Challengers
The Substance
and The Substance. Very interesting.
Show me a song. You know what I mean? Show me a joke.
Well, this one,
Honora. Are you familiar with Honora or any
I
of
am
Sean
not.
Baker's work? Highlight it real quick. You might actually know it if you see the poster.
oh,
Yeah, Florida Project and
Yes.
Tangerine. I'm like, what are you talking about? Comedy?
but what's this? A Real Pain. Oh yeah, that one's a comedy.
one's
That,
comedy.
that
That
one
one-
I
that
do.
one's
I really
actually
want to see
comedy.
that too.
Oh, me
But
too.
This
I really
people were talking about how like it is about transitioning, but it's not.
Respectful.
It's not very respectful. And I saw a clip from a song.
Well, that's the most. It is a musical.
There is a song in it.
It's the most Golden Globe thing to do, or I'll say award show thing to do, is to just be like, I'll take the bait. This is a bait movie. I mean, I haven't seen it. I can't speak.
I think I saved it. I'll play a little bit of the song for you at
That's
one
so
point.
funny.
But it's like I was like, oh, this is one. I just don't think it's like a good musical song. Like even when people are doing song talky, it just felt awkward. But what they're singing about is really
Let's go through
weird.
the winners real quick.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of this. So animated. Ooh,
Flow.
went to Flow. That's fun.
That's cool. A lot of people are upset it didn't go to Wild Robot.
I know. I heard great things. There's a new Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. I think
January 3rd. Okay, it literally just
came out. And didn't the guy that did the voice die?
I don't know. Keep going.
Okay. Non-English.
Amelia Perez still.
That's interesting. It's in
Non-English
French?
language. French.
I watched a song and it was in English. And it didn't look like they were dubbing them
it
out.
says Selena Gomez
Zoe
and
Saldana.
Zoe Saldana, French. Keep going.
Zoe Saldana, amazing. Too.
I think Selena Gomez is good too.
Yeah.
I don't know about amazing, but Best performance was for I'm Still Here.
Fernanda Torres.
Baby Girl was an option. Okay. Tilda Swinton's always great. Oh, Brutalist. Adrian Brody must have done that good. He's just got that, like, he's that kind of actor, isn't he now?
Yeah.
Where he just does that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is great because I'm hoping he's having fun doing what he's doing. But I miss his
Splice.
King Kong, Splice, like the weird, great.
It's like,
but you can go big, but you can go small.
He does artsy foreign
Yeah,
stuff
he just
now.
does a lot of art stuff.
Okay. Those are all, I like all those. Okay, more pages. I'm good.
Okay, cool.
That's all I needed to
So
say.
that there was just a lot of stuff, but the jokes were a real cool thing. But I was just like, man, we think we talked about it before. Not like they don't show trailers during award shows because it doesn't get the views as like a Super Bowl or something like that. I was just like, I don't know.
Which is why the Game Awards was so good.
Right?
The Game Awards is a perfect 4 hours for me.
It's so much fun.
It just every single thing that comes up, I'm like, God, I love this industry.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love games. I love what I like knowing things and seeing the people and the inside joke with Joseph Fares. Oh, he fucked the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff is like, I really love all this, but I love movies and I don't give a shit about the Oscars.
I know, and it's so sad.
Or the Golden Globes in this case.
It's probably because they've been around so long and they were done in such a backwards way, and it was the only way to touch Hollywood when they first started. But now it's a totally different connection level that they're still trying to do it the old way, and they try to revamp it or make it new, but it just still doesn't feel new.
You know, it's no new headline that Hollywood tone deaf.
Yeah,
right. Like sure, yeah. Based on what's winning too is like okay, yeah. It's not even just the show; it's what's winning. That's like okay,
yeah,
or what's nominated or anything like that.
But it happened. People won awards, and I think it was somebody talked about how I think it was Zoe Saldana's first win, which seems crazy because she's
Demi
so
Moore's
good.
first win too, and she's like,
really?
I've been doing this for 45 years. This is my first win of anything.
That's crazy because they're both really good.
Yeah,
it's not like it's like this is my first one. Oh, it's great to see
Did you
from
watch
you.
The Substance yet?
I have not.
No,
I don't know if I will.
At all?
I don't know.
Why?
Nothing about it interests me at all.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
that's fair enough.
If it's like one of those things where everyone's like, "Hey, we need to watch a movie. I haven't seen this, blah blah blah," and everyone's like, "Let's watch it." Like, not that I'm at places where everyone's like trying to pick a movie to watch.
I know, yeah.
But if that were to happen,
I don't know if that's really the best group movie either. But
I just
hear you.
I don't know. It'll never be something that I click. There's a lot of Ong Box to get back to. There's a bunch of,
that's new for you.
there's a
sure,
lot of
sure.
other things I want to go back and watch before I
Yeah.
watch that movie.
Well, if it ever comes to Netflix or whatever, it would make sense to hit play on it, I think. But
okay.
I mean, there's a reason I went through my whole review, gave it a thumbs up and a heart, whatever, but didn't recommend it to you. I don't think you'd take to it,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'm also not the biggest body gore horror fan.
Neither are anyone who's ever seen that movie, because there's body horror for sure. Like it's
Okay.
not. I wouldn't declass it as that, but people I think are going a little hyperbole on how much it affected them, and I'm like, well, I get that you don't watch other body horror stuff because of because of what it is, but
It's also, where was it?
higher.
Higher.
There you go.
There we go. This picture right here, someone gets their arm chopped off, blood, blah, 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 anything that happens gets to like stomach cut open, guts fall out. Totally cool. But I see like the stitching, that freaks me out. I don't I don't like medical gore because
There's a lot of medical gore.
because in my head, if somebody gets their arm or something blown off, I go, that's not supposed to happen. But when I look at medical gore, I go,
This
that
was
was
the goal.
that was what they tried to do. Why? I don't like stitches. I don't like.
That's not. This obviously stitches are medical.
Yeah,
Everything that happens to her spine there was not planned by anybody.
right. But it's got that look, and especially on the white background, very hospital, like sterile, and
yeah.
I just don't
It's
like
got a lot of that. It's got a lot of that. For me, there's the high level thought of the movie. You get the substance, you take the substance. The very first thing it shows you is there's an egg, like a cracked egg on a white surface. Substance comes in, injects 2 eggs.
Oh, okay.
And you go, okay, so it's not so much that they are going to like transform every 7 days in this movie. It's every 7 days they switch back from being Demi Moore to Margaret Qualley. Like that's the back and forth.
Okay.
But it's more so that there are now 2 of you. Like 2 of you exist. But only one of you can have the consciousness. like at a time. In a
So
way.
what's happened to the other one?
But they are both separate. They lay there,
Oh, okay.
and they are they have like a bag that what's the IV, like an IV kind of drip that's got days written on it in like a rolling, like a foldable bag, and that you'll see the days like drain away. But the thing is to function as the young self, she has to take spinal fluid from the old one and put him in cups and like inject it into herself. Don't know why, don't know whatever, but it's watching there be an injection point in someone's spine and just take. The first injection point is in that cut and stuff. That's not easy to watch. And it's very, because that is the goal. That's we need to keep doing this for me to survive. And everyone's on board, including sleeping Demi Moore.
Right. It's like that. And anytime I see someone get that orange iodine and the cut's about to, it's like, I don't know why it bugs me. Because it's not like I haven't had that happen. It's like not like I broke my arm and I've seen that before and it traumatized me.
It's all fair.
It's just like a weird thing where I'm like, I just don't like that.
So
But
you're not
fucking
gonna
rip
watch,
people, terrify or rip people apart, do whatever. I'm all there to
sure.
watch it.
Yeah, because it's not supposed to happen. That won't happen to me.
But as soon as he gets in a doctor's suit and turns and he puts the iodine on someone, I'm like, no, don't do it.
No,
and it's
put
just
the
a little
scalpel
slit
away.
and then put in like a tube or whatever. I go, no, He's on a bed ripping someone apart, sitting in I'm like, whatever.
I also don't enjoy that. I mean, it's not what I look for, but it doesn't bother me in the same way it seems to bother you.
I don't know. Yeah, I just don't like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's not too many things that bother me in that sense, like that go that deep on film, at least.
I was gonna say the medical thing I've known for a long time has just always bugged me. The getting in the Borderlands Final Prayer. That was a new one. Where I went, I didn't know this bothered
the
me.
descent, like there's freaky things that I'm like, okay, but it's not a bothering. Like I want to watch all of those again.
Right.
You know. Human Centipede 2 had so much in it that was one that I know I'll never watch again. Like I just know I've set the boundary. I just won't. But for me, the ones that affect me the most are completely normal to anyone else. It's like somebody breaking the rules and like about to be getting caught the whole movie. Emily the Criminal. Dude, my arms were sweaty. Like my palms were so sweaty watching it. I was like, like, is she gonna make it? Is she gonna get away with it?
Like
It's like an anxiety of breaking the rules. Like probably myself.
Gotcha.
Another movie like that is Good Time with
I really want to watch
the
that.
Benny Safdie. With Robert Pattinson. The movie's awesome. I didn't get it as much from that movie because he's more fun doing it. He's like, he feels like a D&D character. The way it's like I'm watching him role play different characters as he goes. But I hear that Uncut Gems is one that is like, it's probably that kind of movie. There's a reason I haven't watched it yet, and it's because I know it's going to be an Emily the Criminal situation of just like, oh God, so hard to watch.
I think for me, it's one of the biggest things that happened recently, which I've watched the show before, so I'm surprised I didn't remember. But there's a moment, I think in House, I was watching, and they're doing like the brain, like they're cutting open the skull and they're doing the surgery or whatever, and they mess up or something, and he goes blind, and the guy's like in the head trap, and he's like, I can't see anything, and he starts like freaking out. But he's in the head trap and his skull's still open. I went, do not move. What are you doing? It's like I was like, I wanted to I wanted to scream at this guy. I'm like, knock him out. Just don't let him move. I don't like this. It was that was like one of the surprising moments. I'm just watching in the morning, getting ready for waiting for Beth to get ready, and I was like, no, stop, don't do that. Oh, that or anytime someone has those like medical leg braces with the big metal pins and they like trip or like you hear like the creaking. I went,
nah, dude,
just stop.
Daddy needs to go to work.
Now I'm into that. That's great.
That's cool.
The cast, I've seen, people cut off casts in movies and stuff like that. That's fine, but I don't know, it's like the metal.
I get it.
It's weird.
So you're not going to watch the Cronenberg Crimes of the Future?
I don't plan on it.
Surgery's the New Sex?
Yeah, no, that's not for me.
The whole movie. That's one that I haven't watched. I want to.
Right, because it's sexy. It's horny. It's in your lane.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. Yeah, it's in my lane.
Yeah. I'll wait for the review when you come back.
Good. I don't know how I'll watch it though. So if it's not available, I'm not gonna like rent it.
Right. A while ago,
I've got too much Gundam to watch.
Yeah. A while ago, we were talking about different things, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't want to talk about this." Now that we're here, we're wrapping up our topic, and we're just diving in. We're just diving. Well, I mean, we're wrapping up that topic. We're going to the next thing.
We got plenty of time.
I cannot remember for the life of me what I was going to talk about.
Well, I got something else.
Go
for you.
ahead.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I remember.
I was going to say, I just
wanted to
You
do
looked
the
at me
bit of,
like
like-
that. I went, I remember now. But go on.
Oh, you did?
I do remember.
Oh, well, I'm not going to forget mine. You go ahead.
Oh, it was PlayStation made a few announcements of their next
Stupid.
Their
What
ne-
are we doing?
the
What
next
are we doing?
the next like multimedia projects they're doing. They announced 2 movies and an anime.
Sony, you said?
Sony.
Okay.
PlayStation. Announced
PlayStation.
2 new movies and an
Oh.
anime I saw.
Okay. Yeah, what are they?
They announced Ghosts of
Tsushima.
Thank you, is going to be an anime.
Okay.
Cool.
Sure.
And then that Horizon Zero Dawn will be getting a movie. And then this one where I'm like,
Yo.
right. This one I went.
Damn.
This one
It's
I
unfortunately, what's his name? Lance
Henriksen?
No.
Oh,
Well, I love him too, but
Reddick.
Reddick. Is that his name?
I
Lance
think
Reddick?
it's something like that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he passed because he was great in that game and would just be an obvious natural translation. But Ashley Birch coming to play Aloy.
I don't. They just
Can't,
announced
right?
him.
Can't, right? Can't.
This one.
Water.
Hey, water. I don't have water.
Make it a double.
Oh. Forgot we have actual water here.
Yep. Unless you want to. I did bring the soda stream because I knew that Brent was. I knew that we were down to our final Pepsi or our last 2 Pepsis.
I know.
So I soda streamed on the way. I thought about it. I didn't want to come and be disappointed or take the last one or something.
There you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
This last
Cheers.
one. Cheers.
You took a sip. Now you're gonna have to pee like all day.
Yeah, I know. The water does it. But this next one I went, they already made this movie. Why are you doing this? Helldivers 2 is the next project. They're making a new movie. I'm like, this movie already exists.
Yeah, but
It's-
if they're gonna put their property on it and have the same, like Starship Troopers is great,
Right.
but it would be fun, and I think it'll make a good movie.
But out of all the PlayStation properties in the world,
I'm aware.
is
Helldivers 2 is like overperforming in a measure that it's just not in my circle.
oh
but
really?
It's like,
I thought it went and then
well, even if it did do that, it's back
Oh,
because of
really?
this new expansion. You see, you watched the Game Awards.
Yeah.
You're in a city. It's a new enemy type. Whatever. People are really digging it.
but I thought they were still like losing. Like I thought the whole goal was to
Well,
win.
we could check the numbers
I
later,
don't know.
but
Interesting. But anyway, I saw that because I was
that
like,
is interesting.
I was like,
don't-
oh,
it's
Horizon?
not what I would pick, obviously, but
I want another-
Horizon is big enough that I'm like, fuck the others. Who cares?
Horizon's very cool. I would have liked another Uncharted, but I get it.
Dude, another Uncharted would have been great. And they left
so
it
cool.
open and everything. That Uncharted movie was a lot of fun.
A ton of fun. And they left it open to the point where it's like, now we're going to get the games we played.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like we did the prequel. Now we can do the games or something
It could
along
also-
the line.
You could look at it as a prequel movie into the games you got. So there's that, but all the same.
So, but then it's also like, I mean, no God of War. It's crazy that they haven't done anything
Yeah,
with that.
and we got The Last of Us show.
Yep.
So that's another big property one. Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
Yeah, you can't. Goes
So
back
when
and forth.
I think of the other big games that are Sony exclusive, I'm like, yeah, you've got them. So Ghost of Tsushima being an anime makes sense, and it's because they've got Yotai, Ghost of Yotai coming.
Yotai watch. Remember that at Best Buy? They had that display for the Yokai Watch
Yokai
game,
Watch, yeah,
and it was that Horizon movie is super exciting. It does sound cool. I'll have to see something from it to
It does
know.
have that thing though, where I'm like, are you going to give me anything different, or am I just watching the game condensed into a 2-hour thing that now is accessible to a lot of people and I can share my excitement? Sure. Are you going to try to release it and tie it to a third movie? Like
A third game?
Sorry, third game.
Yeah.
To tie the movie to the third game as like a day and date sort of thing so we can get hype and sell more copies of this third game.
Yeah, it's also like, are we going to get a Sonic 3 or are we going to get a Borderlands? Because that's where video games movies are right now. We get 1 or 2 options.
Oh yeah, well, Sony.
Sony does well.
I trust them to
Yes.
with their properties. After Uncharted being like, wow, that was so much better than I thought
Right?
it should have been. Like, I'm trusting.
And Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
Knocked out of
true.
the park.
Yeah, true. Great
Nailed
Turismo
it.
was a ton of fun.
One
Yeah,
of those movies where you go
that's
like,
true.
this
It
can't
was
be good.
It was a
but
Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we knew. We
knew.
We saw the
We
trailer.
always
We
knew.
were on board early.
Yeah.
We just didn't know how good it was
It's going to be, dude. Oh, so good. But
I'm bringing my own crew.
in the rain.
Yeah, in the rain. Well,
Breaks
after
were
having a
glazed.
dinner of like, I can't do this.
Yeah. How'd you know those brakes were glazed?
I told you I'm a real driver.
This game is good.
So silly, dude.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a really great movie.
That's all I had. I just saw those announcements.
that's
That's
good.
really cool.
That's good.
We don't have, obviously no trailers, no images, no nothing. It's just, hey, we're doing this. That's great.
Mine was related to giant robots.
Hit me with it. I saw that the Gundam miniature game and card game are releasing both in July. Like they're coinciding releasing, which is surprising because I was like, oh, wow, that miniature game is being announced and coming out way fast because the Gundam game, card game got announced.
In like October.
Yeah, but in the same calendar, 6 month.
That one has a beta release.
The card game?
The card game. People already have
Yeah,
beta
yeah,
cards
that's
in their
fair.
hands. So like the game's playable right
Where's
now.
your cards?
I don't speak Japanese.
Oh, so sad.
The full set's leaked though. Not leaked, that's not the right word. Spoiled, released, something. They like here's all the cards you're getting in the beta set.
We haven't printed proxies yet to play?
I can.
We should.
That's the thing. So they showed all the cards, not the rules.
Ooh.
Then they showed the rules.
Oh,
And people
okay.
are like, okay, we can do it now.
Cool,
so
cool.
we have a rule set. I bet you it's probably like a printed rule set, like the One Piece, where we came up with 15 questions and we're like, okay, hold up.
Yeah.
But all the same.
Enough to play.
Yeah, it is enough to play. So we could try it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the beta kits that are US were pre-ordered in I think October, and they release I think it's early February to US, but they're out in Japan, so I can just order one. It's like it's sold for $60. You could buy it for like $150 on eBay to get a Japanese one just sent to you.
Yeah.
I've thought about it. But
For the Japanese?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I've thought about it. But the Pokemon comparison is like, you can't play Japanese cards with them. You can't. I don't know if the backs are going to be different. By the look of it, they're not. Like the textures and everything,
Right.
it looks like the same card, but it still has the. I don't want to mix and match. I'm eventually just going to not own these cards anymore. So am I spending $150 to just get it early?
When you could just proxy for way less
When I can
and
proxy for
read
way less
and
and play and have it and whatever. And then once the English ones come out,
You're going to
they'll
get them.
probably be on eBay too.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the same price, maybe cheaper. And I think stores are getting beta editions too. So
in February?
it's I think February. It's global December, so it was like stores might be able to get them early. That's the problem is Bandai is not open with any of their information. I
Yeah.
call stores, they don't know. So ideally early February, and then I know the local to the state Bandai partners after calling them. So I think I would have I would figure out a slot. I would get one.
I did.
You know me.
I looked
get
at.
one.
I tried to look for a Gundam. What's the? Is it a beta kit that they got at the event, like Red Zone Rogue and stuff?
Yeah. That is the one that is going to be released in February. They got it early. Remember, I was talking to him, and he said the day he was going was actually days after the official launch of it
Right.
in Japan. I didn't know that, so I was like, "Oh, they'll be out by then." He's
Yeah.
like, "Really?" But he obviously got English cards early.
Right.
And he got a fucking Gundam jacket with patches, and I was like,
I looked at those boxes. I was like, someone at one of these events has got to have one that I might be able to like sneak. And I set a budget for myself. I was like, if I can find one for $400, I'll get it for Stokes. I was like, I'm gonna go hard for
damn.
it. The cheapest one I found was $10.50. It was like over $1,000
in English.
Yep. And I was like,
I haven't even seen one in English, so
yeah,
But maybe because my
I saw a
cleared.
couple. 2,300 was probably the most. I saw 2,299. I saw 2,000, and then I saw one for 1,050. It was opened, but it was still like he's like everything's in here. I just opened it all and I put it back. I don't want it, so it was cheaper because it was open. I was like, well, then we at least have the cards. But I was like, 1050. That's way too
That's
much.
way too much.
So I
and
tried
to not be able to unseal it when in about a month. I think it's the 11th if I remember, but in a month I'll be able to just potentially buy it.
Totally.
February might be an expensive month for me
Yeah, but I was like,
for that reason, and Monster Hunter Wilds and Avowed and Assassin's Creed Shadows. A lot of games.
I was
going
just
on in
looking at
February.
Monster Hunter Wilds too. I was going through the weapons, I guess.
Yeah,
it's weapons
weapons.
more than characters, right? Yeah, weapons. I was like, what do I want to play? What's going on? And I actually think I might go sword and shield.
Staple.
I think
Huge.
it's just I like the look
Being
of
able
it.
to block
and
is nice and everything.
yeah. So I'm hoping Bethany and I know Alec played the Monster
Beta.
Hunter, not Wilds, World.
Yeah.
I was like, they're both W's, so I get confused. World.
Yeah, if we
so
get
he'd
the
be in
crew
it,
in,
and
I mean, we've got Derek and Tim in, so
Yeah.
I don't know what a party can be. I think it's 4.
But even then, if I could bounce around with people, if it's like, hey, we're going to go hunt the same monster over and over again to get drops.
Derek's probably going to be so much farther ahead than all of us because of how much grinding I imagine he's going to want to do, that he's also going to be like, oh, no one's on right now? I am playing by myself. I am matchmaking for people.
Right.
He's going to be like so over leveled, which is real. Eventually you get to a spot where you can just be like instant killing monsters, comparatively. Right. So he'll be a big help for all of us.
So I think that would be cool. But I was like, I really want to jump on this game early because it seems to be with Monster Hunter, everyone jumps on early. They play like crazy and they kind of dwindles down as you not run out of things to do, but kind of like just get your fill.
There's a board in the game that people send up a flare of like, I need help with this monster, and you can answer that call,
which is really cool.
Those flares go away.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, it's nice when I need a monster and I know I'll have somebody and they need the help and I'm overpowered. Like it all works out in a good way.
And then
eventually you'll send up a flare and no one will join you. It's like, fuck.
The beacons are lit. There's no one there to answer.
The beacons are lit.
So, but I was back looking into it. I was like, man, I really hope. I mean, obviously you're going to play. Derek's going to play. I think Alec would be interested in playing. But like, I really hope Bethany and Em get on it, or at least Bethany.
Yeah, it's a tough game though. It's like,
it is.
Would they get into a Dark Souls kind of thing? It's not that tough,
right?
But it gets that tough.
Yeah, I think it would. I think it's going to help that we could all pick different classes. We're all doing different things.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it's going to be tough, we like doing hard things. Like we were doing First Descendant, like doing bosses that were hard, and they were hard because we either were under leveled or we weren't maxed to the insanity. Min-maxing. So we really like that feeling. And I was like, this is really cool. It looks really pretty. That's a big thing Bethany likes, is like if a game looks pretty. Yeah. I think if a game goes too old or whatever,
too, so
it drops off for her pretty quick. Like she was playing Alan Wake, and I think she dropped off. And I was like,
the same way now.
If you could get to Alan Wake 2, I think you would really love it. But you got to get through Alan Wake, or 2 is not going to make any sense to you. So, you can skip Control, but if you don't play the first one.
It was on the winter sale on Epic for like $35. Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake?
Yeah. And I was like, I just don't know if I need a story game right now. I'm kind of just waiting till February.
That's fair.
But
I've thought about picking it up.
I'll probably wait for a sort of game of the year kind of thing to happen where here's all the expansions, because if it is as good as everyone's telling me it is, I'd like to probably just play through all of it.
I got a physical copy for Christmas of Alan Wake 2 for the Xbox.
Fuck.
Because I was almost going to get it on PlayStation to platinum it, because I've already 100%ed it. I was like, I'll get the PlayStation. I was like, but if they buy me the physical copy, I don't want to buy it digitally and then have the physical, because I'd want to play it. But I got Xbox, so I am thinking about it. But I also got the Medium on PS5 that I would like to platinum too. Nice. So I want to go back and do that.
Check that off my list because I haven't found it anywhere. I'm always looking everywhere I go. So check. You still looking for Murders?
Yeah, on PlayStation.
No, Xbox.
No, I already have it on Xbox.
Oh, really? Murder? Yep. Oh, wow.
I thought you got that for me.
It's possible.
Okay, I was gonna say I think you got Murder for me.
Okay.
So now I just need. There's a bunch of like little things that I'm like, don't spend over a blank amount, because I don't need. Because I was like, I've got the special edition of Control on like that Steelbook on PlayStation and Xbox, but then they did a edition
Game
that came with
whatever.
And I have that for Xbox, but I don't have it for PlayStation. But don't spend over $20 on it. Like I already have 3 versions of the game. I don't need another one, but it'd be cool to have. Same thing. Alan Wake 2 is like someone needed something for Christmas that was at a certain price point. I was like, cool, put on either one. I want it.
When we were downstate, Colin and I, on the way back, we stopped by Static Tape and chatted with Harrison and all that. For the first time, I stopped in his other store, Spin City, which is the record store. I've just never been in there.
Yeah.
And in the back, he has video games. I didn't know that. And when I went, I saw for the very first time with my own eyeballs the Borderlands 2 Super Deluxe Collector's Edition. And I was like, oh my God, no way. Like, it's like this. It's one of the chests you open in the game. That's like, it's the chest, which is what they did with the third one. Obviously, I didn't give a fuck because I hated that game.
Yeah.
But I was like, God, I love Borderlands 2. And I was like, I shouldn't buy this. I didn't.
You did it?
I couldn't.
How much was it?
It was open. So that's one of the other things. Is like if it was sealed at this price, to be like, wow, that's he didn't Google this because that's crazy. It was like $150.
Okay.
I'm just not, after Christmas and everything, I'm not just like 150,
Going back for a second, Medium, I don't have an Xbox physical.
Okay.
So I just have the PlayStation version, which I've already 100% on Xbox.
So now I'm looking for the Medium in Van Helsing.
Yes, Van Helsing. You know what's crazy? I just saw a whole TikTok, but a whole video going into it, because it's from, it might be an IGN, but whatever, like an actual YouTube video they condensed TikTok, where they talk about that Van Helsing, the game, goes more into Van Helsing's backstory as the angel Gabriel and all this different. Like, there's actually like legit lore things in the game that aren't in the movie
So you're ready
because
to
they
go for
planned for more movies.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, this isn't just me playing the movie. This is like they're going to give me more lore about it. That's awesome.
There you have
I'm
it.
so hyped.
I'm good. I'm glad to hear it.
So, but yeah, I think I'll have to go through and I need to double check. But I think I've got most of my games now. I've had a lot of all the
ways you
Halos.
want 'em,
Yeah, I've had all the Halos for a hot minute. I think there might be like one edition of one of them that is like such a weird
if you
thing.
find something, you make me a list. I'm always looking.
Okay, cool. Same thing. You got to make me your new list of movies.
Yeah, I just really have to update my list and get it to you.
Yeah, yep.
For Gundam though,
Yeah.
Just fuck those movies for a second. I got something. You need to get me those other ones.
Oh right, yeah. Which you still haven't told me.
I'm not in a Thunderbolt. I'm not in a. I'm watching a different series right now of Gundam to like alleviate. So I'm not like I'm waiting for you. But it is keeping me from the Universal Century timeline right now. So I'm like, I'd like to get there. But the one I have been watching, The Witch from Mercury, has been awesome because
It's Gundam Witch from Mercury.
Yeah, Gundam The Witch from Mercury. But it was made in 2022. So it just is like all the new animation, which is interesting because it feels tropier. I'm like, wow, they went harder like anime probably, not just Gundam, of course. But I'm like, this character is not like any of these other characters. The main character is much more like, oh my gosh, I'm so shy all the time. Oh, and it's like they're trembling all the time. They're hiding behind people. I was like, these other characters were shy too. It made them shit at their jobs, but they had to do it because they were like on the brink of death every fucking 30 minutes, This one's like, you're shy, but we're in a school. We're in an academy.
Yeah. Well,
there's the best of the academy here. And we're going to have tryouts and all I'm just like, this feels like a new anime, but also it's a spot where all of the top companies of the world send their kids to become whatever. So it's like a private school, and the politics of this school affect the politics of that company, affect like people dying and affect the world. So I like that there's still something serious, but I'm like, it still feels whatever.
It was, it's probably, the older Gundams you have been watching, they were trying to find the formula of anime. And then this movie's like, the formula has been made. This is this is the comfort food everyone wants. We just want to put our own spin on it. So let's put this in. Let's put this in. Let's put this in.
It's in its own timeline.
Yeah.
It's the only one in that timeline, unless they make another one. Which it was made in 2022, so it's possible. They don't have master grade of the Gundam yet. So even if I finish it, I don't know if I'll be able to get the Gundam. But it is fucking cool.
Talking about having to find you Gundam on a totally legit way, obviously. I saw a cool bit of news from, I follow Otaku News Insider, which is where I get a lot of my anime news on Instagram and different social media sites.
Sure. I just learned what that word meant.
Otaku?
Yeah, just like nerd.
Yeah. They posted that the world's largest anime piracy site surpasses Crunchyroll and Disney Plus for global monthly visits.
Disney Plus.
Yeah. Wow. So it looks like Disney Plus had 343 million. Crunchyroll had 125.1.
Wow, million. Wow.
This piracy site had 364 million monthly visits for HI, I think just high anime.
Cool.
So I thought that was interesting that it was like, wow, that's like.
And there's a site for it.
There's
a site and they're not down like that.
Yeah.
Like LimeWire didn't last,
No, yeah. I mean, there's a lot like. It's usually not like piracy sites. There is a lot of weird anime streaming where it's like they grabbed the rights to this, so Crunchyroll doesn't have it. And you go, what? Why did you do that? Like we all agreed Crunchyroll is where everything should go. Before there was the Funimation and Crunchyroll. Now they're the same. It's like we all agreed. High Dive. Why do you keep taking seasons from Crunchyroll? No one wants to pay for you. Get out of here. You're really fucking annoying. But it's like piracy sites and stuff like that's where like. Sometimes it's just like, well, the rights are who knows where, so no one can grab it, but we still want to watch it. I'm sure that's why a lot of the piracy sites get a lot, but it's crazy to see that it has more traffic than actual legit sites, especially Disney.
Yeah, Disney's the one. You heard me say it. I was like, Disney?
Yeah.
Wow.
I also saw that Netflix is getting more click-throughs on anime with the push that they've been doing with like Dan to Dan and stuff like that than Crunchyroll has, which is weird. Which it makes sense, and it's also weird.
People have Netflix for the other reasons too. So
exactly. People already have it. They go for it.
They're willing to venture out because they already own it.
Right. But it's like, man, I get it, but also it was nice to be like, this is where I can go to get all of the anime, or this is where I can go to get all the, I would say sports, but now Netflix, last night they did their Monday Night Raw for the first time, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I was going to talk about putting it on, but I forgot I was on last night's episode, and also we ran late, but I was afterwards. I was like, oh,
I do remember, yeah.
There was a great clip I saw where it was John Cena doing an interview, I think either pre or post show.
Sure.
And the interview, or he's doing, the questionnaire, and everyone's in the chairs. The
press conference.
Yeah, Trent Krim. Yeah, from the Independent. And they go, hey, John, it's really good to see you here. And John goes, see me? Really? See me? and the guy's like, he's like, yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead. Ask me a question. But it was just like, he's wearing a hat that says, you can't see me. The shirt says it. He's like, see me? Really? Really? It was so funny.
Wow.
I was like, I think that probably the questionnaire person, because they don't really do those questions for WWE stuff, at least from what I remember. They don't do that press conference kind of style.
Not a real one.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's like, oh, really? And the guy's like, I was like, I think John was making a joke.
Yeah.
The guy in the audience is like, oh, did I say something
about
wrong?
To get fucking,
exactly.
Like, Batista bomb somewhere.
Fucking pulls up a chair and starts beating him in the crowd.
I'm about to have to act.
How long until we get that scene where he just starts fighting somebody in that press conference room? Not long. Right?
I mean, maybe not John, but somebody, Mm-hmm. Someone busting through the back.
Yeah. I haven't checked yet, but I was wondering if now is that Monday Night Raw, can I just watch it on Netflix now? Like, it's post?
I think that's the full deal, yeah.
That's
like
awesome.
You can just watch it. It's the new spot.
I want to watch it. Because Monday nights at 8,
dude,
not a time for us to watch Monday Night Raw.
Not anything. But I did have the thought, though. I was like, because it feels like that reboot, the DC thing, like you said, like, this is a good jump on point.
Yep.
But I'm like, every time I see something from it, I just don't think it's as for me as I want it to be. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'm going to feel as committed to it as I do things that I came to naturally on accident.
Totally. But where it is now, I'm going to give it a shot. I think that's my thing. As I'm going to give it a shot, give it a month or so, see how it's feeling, see if I'm like, oh, I got to watch that, or it's like, oh, I get to watch that.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
You got to find the feeling. Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't have found it had I not tried whatever Gundam thing. I wouldn't have been like, oh, I need that. Like, I need to keep watching.
So I'm going to give it a shot because it's right there and I can click on it. But I don't, again, just like you said, I don't know if it's going to grab me like I think it's going to. I hope so, because I love the idea. The over the top, the dramatics, all that stuff. You know, I saw a clip of somebody who's like, just someone with a belt, and it's the Undertaker returns, like boom, and it all goes dark, and I'm like, God, I just love this.
Yeah,
but I'm watching like a 2-minute clip from a who knows how long this thing was.
Yeah, no, it would be good.
Yeah, so
we can give that a shot. We can do that.
Yeah,
I don't know when.
I know
we won't be able to watch it together. There's really like no world that happens, but.
Unless it's like, hey, every Tuesday post podcast, we'll watch an episode or pre podcast.
Well, I was going to say it would be pre, but which we could do. You get here at 11 though.
Yeah,
but I don't know how long it is. We can figure.
I
it
think
out
it's whatever.
We'll figure it out.
But anyway,
one other. We didn't talk about our resolutions.
Oh yeah, or the movies of the year that we were talking about last time. We were going to talk about this time.
Did we?
Yep.
I didn't come
Best
up with
movies
a list.
of the year.
So I spit my 3 out there. And I was like, I think this is it. I just came up with one.
Oh, okay.
This last week that I was like, I think that's something I want to do this year. I was talking to Mrs. Hokie.
Okay.
And we were talking about how much we love Stardew. He did a little retro gaming thing at his house. I came over. Some TVs were taken. I just played Stardew on my Steam Deck. Mm-hmm. And I was talking about how much I love it. Game's great, blah, blah, blah. And she mentioned something very specific that was like, oh, this is, and I was like, oh, I didn't make it there. Like, I didn't get to that spot, the desert or whatever. And she's like, oh, well, have you done this? And started like working her way backwards. And I was like, let me tell you, I finish 1 year of a farm and I already want to make another one. Like I don't complete the game. There's no completing it, really. So I was just don't complete. She's like, wow, I feel like you've really missed a lot of the game. And I was like, I know. And to think I love what I have. Like, there's more. And I was like, you know what? I think my New Year's resolution is to start a farm from scratch this year and take it to the end.
Oh, okay.
Take it to the end in that there's actually something built into the game. I told you there's really no beating it because it doesn't feel like beating it.
Right.
But they have a checklist built into the game that is called perfection.
Gotcha.
You go to get 100%, to finish everything and do everything. And I don't know what that means or how that looks or whatever because I've never watched it. I see a lot of people do perfection runs, not speed runs, but I don't watch those, but just perfection runs. And I don't exactly know what it means, but I'm like, I'm going to play and figure it out and achieve it.
Nice.
I will fully get it in that game. I'm not going to do it on PlayStation, so I'm not getting platinum trophies. I'm not doing whatever. I'm probably going to do it on Steam, so I can have it on my deck. I can have it at home, whatever. But it was like, when I think of what are some of the clear-cut games I like by title, but also by genre, cozy games by genre, Stardew by title, I think is one of the top ones because it's just I always go back to it.
Yeah.
Same way I used to always go back to Destiny. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Why'd I have to
I'm
say
sorry
it out
for your
loud?
loss.
Why'd I have to say it out loud?
Yeah.
I gave it power. You don't have power over me. Stardew's really good. So I'm like, I really should beat it. There's somebody who made, because there's the 1.6 update, changed a lot of things. Creator came out and said, I love Stardew. I gave my life to it. Everything's great. I finished the 1.6 update. It's been pushed to consoles. Everything's good. I feel rested and I'm done there. I'm ready to give my all to this next game, Haunted Chocolatier, which was announced like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But he's the only developer. But he's like, I want to do it in my own time. Whatever. I'm not close. I'm not ready. It's not coming. But Stardew is Stardew.
Complete.
Somebody made a 1.6 guidebook that is like a fan-made collection. That's like what you would get as a guidebook from like Gamer Reads or whatever,
yeah.
like those really cool hardcovers. But of course, it's super cutesy, handmade art throughout the thing. It's like its own art piece. Then I'm like, I think I'm going to take that and I think I'm going to read and play by the guidebook and like really drink the game, like really get to the bottom of the cup. I'm sipping air at the bottom. Like I've done it all.
That's cool.
So that I can be in on the thing I'm already in on. Like I'm like you said, I'm not really the surface level kind of guy, but in a game where I don't share Stardew with anybody. Sometimes Devin, who I've tried to get a starter farm with me, but he fucking won't.
Whoa, shots fired.
But I bought it for Lauren, Derek's girlfriend Lauren, who set up the PC and everything. Everything's running and functional. Kylan was visiting, so I wasn't able to really like whatever, but I see her in the Discord. I see her, she's playing Magic. They have the arm set up. It's so she can play Magic in game and like be part of Derek's hobby too. But the first thing I did was get her Stardew Valley. I just was like, okay, I told her when I got her Christmas gift, which was like an accessory. It was a wireless G502.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm also getting you Stardew, but I need you to have a Steam set up. I need you to have this. I'm going to gift it to you. So that Shay gifted her Minecraft. But yeah, so maybe I'll have somebody. But all the same, I'm going to have my own solo farm, Overlook Farms, as I call it. I'm going to 100% it.
You can marry Haley this time.
No.
Okay.
The white knight in me can't marry Haley. I have to save Leah. Or no, not Leah. She's the whatever.
Talking about the
Penny.
one developer doing a second game, all this stuff kind of reminds me. I just saw real quick. I haven't even fact checked it, so it might be crazy. But I think Notch came out and said that he's going to work on his next game. He's like,
Of Minecraft?
like Minecraft's done.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's sold.
Yep. He's
passed.
ready to do the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Lightning
that means.
in a bottle, will it happen? I mean,
Yeah, I don't
the
know.
Haunted Chocolatier one, it looks already by the views or the visual that's around. I'm like, he's fixing combat. It's ghosts. You own a chocolatier shop. I'm playing this game.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
What am I going to do?
I just
not play it?
I thought about the Minecraft and I thought about Shay playing. I was like, oh yeah, I did hear that he was working on a new game. I don't know what that means.
So you might
but
see me on Stardew more, but I don't want it to be this is the game I'm playing until Shadows comes out and then I'm done and then I come back in June. I want it to be like I'm constantly
an
playing
hour
this game.
here, 30 minutes here.
But the
3
first
hours.
thing, which actually I just reminded myself, the first thing is I want to buy that guidebook and I want to like read it and see like, oh, doing this unlocks this. Okay, well then maybe I'll focus more on it and maybe I'll.
Supposed to be effectively Minecraft 2. Notch also announced ... a couple other things. I didn't see the other things. I don't know what that is.
We'll see.
I just saw somebody talking about how it said Minecraft 2 and I went, why? And I clicked in, it was Notch announces his next game. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I went away and I was like, until it's there, I don't care. Unless it's something that's interesting. He could tell me that he's making the coolest game ever, but if I don't get it for however long or it doesn't
It's The Witcher 4.
Yeah, who cares
like,
at
I'll
this
see
point?
that in
So
2030.
I just didn't pay attention. He literally announced that he has a micro penis. Homie's wild. It broke you.
Dude, that's crazy. That's impossible, right? That can't be true.
Well, you know,
That's a pop grave tweet, dude. There's no
there's a lot of people that have come out.
dude, Minecraft, it's all making sense. Now,
It's
you know
all
what I
making
mean?
sense.
I tell you, I just want to, for the record, I don't play Minecraft like that. I'm not that kind of guy, you know? Oh man,
You laughed so hard at that. It's so funny.
that's crazy, dude. What
You
a
know what?
crazy thing to tell the world.
I think that's the best way to wrap up today's show. Everybody, Notch announces he has a micro penis and a second game in the works. So we'll see what comes of that. But we got to wrap up here. I started before we started the podcast. I was like, man, I feel like I got a lot to do today. But so I got to go get to that. Plus, food should be on my horizon because I'm really hungry right now.
Yeah.
So, Stokes, do you have anything else for today?
I can't think of anything else.
I didn't think you'd have it, but I always got to ask. So we're going to sign off this show as we do with every show and say sweet dreams, and we'll see you for breakfast.